A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Jerry, at Fair Oaks.
Corporal?
Yes, sir.
Oh, not you, Dugan. Come on, young, get going. Little Aquapur up this way.
Okay, General. Here you are. Check.
Hey! Hey, for the love of Mike, hey, what's the idea? I'm water corporal here at this table.
Oh, no, you're not, Jerry.
Well, I don't know why not. Hey, what's this all about? I'm still the newest cadet here at this table.
Yeah, sure, you're the newest cadet. But you're not going to serve water to the rest of these punks. Not while Lawrence Sylvester Young is around. No, sir.
Lawrence Sylvester. Hey, is that your name, Tubby?
Yes, sir. That's the old cognomen. Want to make something of it?
No, of course not, but I've just never heard it before, that's all.
Lawrence Sylvester, that's good.
Hey, Lee, what's this all about? I thought I was water corporal at this table.
Well, don't you get it, Jerry? The fellas are just trying to show you what they think of your winning the riding meet with Edson today.
Me? Say.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say, but after all, you were leading the team today, and you were the one who led that last jump. The one event that finally cinched the whole meet for Fair Oaks.
Oh, yeah, I get it, huh? Me, huh?
Sure.
Hey, Cadet Young.
Yes, sir, Cadet Dugan.
I'll have some more water, too, if you please.
Okay, I'll make you serve, Cadet Dugan.
Hey, pipe down, everybody. Pipe down, come on. Sergeant Alden's going to speak now.
All right.
Come on.
Hey,
come on.
Quiet.
Quiet.
All right, men. All right, quiet, please. Well, this is a great day for Fair Oaks, isn't it?
You bet it is.
Yes, sir. I know that this is the day that most of you have been waiting to see. The day when the name of Fair Oaks Military Academy finally will be inscribed on the 5th and last gold plate on the Hunter Craig Trophy for the riding meet between Edson Military Institute and our own alma mater. I know that we're all very sorry that the Edson team couldn't be with us this evening to celebrate. Quiet, men, quiet, please. But we are glad to have at least one representative of the Edson team with us. An Edson cadet who was able to stay over just tonight. The captain of the Edson team, Cadet Major Patterson.
Thank you, fellas. Well, I guess we kind of took a beating today, didn't we?
You bet you did. Yowza.
Tubby, cut it out.
Well, you certainly earned your victory. And on behalf of my team and on behalf of all the Edson riding teams who have ridden to win that trophy before this, I congratulate you. There will certainly be another award waiting for us next year. And let me tell you right now, although Fair Oaks has won the Hunter Craig Trophy as a permanent possession, Edson will be ready to fight for whatever trophy is up next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Major Patterson. I know that the entire student body of Fair Oaks is happy that you've been able to stay over and be with us this evening. Although it is celebrating the defeat of your alma mater, you've proved the value of good sportsmanship by remaining here in Fair Oaks and extending to your opponents your congratulations. All right, men. Now, I know that some of you recognize the man who is sitting here on my right. Some of you have never seen him before. But when I introduce him to you, well, men, I know you're going to realize why he's come more than 1,000 miles to be here this evening with us, and why he came all that distance to be here at Fair Oaks at the riding meet this afternoon. Cadets of Fair Oaks Military Academy, I take the greatest of pleasure in introducing to you a former Fair Oaks cadet, a former fellow student, Coach Donald Craig.
Fellow cadets. Thank you, fellas. Well, I must say it's a greater honor for me to have been here today and to be here tonight than it is for you to have to feed me at this wonderful dinner. Well, it's been a long time since I've had my name mentioned in this hall. It's been a long time since I've even been here. We who have been graduated from FMA don't have the opportunity to return to our alma mater very often. But when we do, believe me, we do enjoy it. Well, fellas, I don't want to go into a lot of ancient history, but as you know, Captain Hunter left us a few years ago to obey greater commands than he could know here on Earth. Before he died, though, Howard and I decided we'd like to make a contribution toward the good-spirited rivalry between Edson and Fair Oaks by offering a trophy to be placed into competition between the two schools. As you also know, up to this year, Fair Oaks has won the trophy twice, and Edson has won it twice. Now, just this afternoon, the riding team of Fair Oaks Military Academy has won the Hunter Craig Trophy for the third time, placing this plaque forever within the trophy cabinet in Custis Hall. My congratulations to the Fair Oaks riding team, and may I add the congratulations of him who cannot be here tonight, Captain Howard Hunter.
All right, fellas. In honor of Coach Don Craig and Captain Hunter, the Fair Oaks alma mater.
Hail to thee, blue and gold, we sing thy praise. Proudly thy banner floats above as we proclaim our loyalty and all our love to thee. We our voices raise, our colors bold. Hail then to Fair Oaks and the blue and the gold.
Thank you, fellas. And now, I know that if Howard Hunter is listening tonight, he'll appreciate your singing of our alma mater, and also the fact that I'm able to be here tonight to present to your honorary captain, Paul Warren, the Hunter Craig Trophy. All right, Paul.
Thank you, Coach Craig. And on behalf of Fair Oaks, I accept the permanent award of the Hunter Craig Trophy. But there's a cadet here tonight who I think ought to really accept this plaque for us, because it was he who led our team to victory today. He wasn't able to ride the horse he trained on, and he had to ride a horse he'd only had a half day to practice on. But still, he went out today and led Fair Oaks to win the Hunter Craig Trophy. Although he's just a plebe here at FMA, I know we're glad to honor him tonight. Cadets, here's to Jerry Dugan.
All right, Jurgen, you want to make a reply?
Well, I think it might be a better idea. I mean, well, after all, it was a horse that carried me over that last earth.
All right, Jurgen, all right. Thanks. And I think we all know exactly how you feel. Now, cadets of Fair Oaks, I know that some of you have met a gentleman who was a visitor here at Fair Oaks for the first time, and who has shown such an interest in this particular athletic event on our campus. It isn't very peculiar to me that he has shown this interest, because, after all, he's been a friend of one of the stellar members of our riding team for quite some time. Of course, I think you know who I mean. He's been beaming and smiling up here at this table all through dinner. And I know you're going to be very, very interested in what he has to say. I mean, of course, Jerry Dugan's former employer and guardian, the owner of Randall Brothers' Greater Circus, Mr. Sam Randall.
Thank you, Sergeant. Well, boys, this is kind of new to me, but I'll do my best to tell you what I have in mind. Fair Oaks has won the Hunter Craig Trophy for the last time. They're going to keep it here at Fair Oaks for all time to come, but, well, you're going to have to fight for something in the future, and, I'd like the privilege of offering a trophy for competition between Fair Oaks Military Academy and Edson Military Institute in future riding meets. It'll be a facsimile of the Hunter Craig Trophy, and if it's all right with you, I'd like you to call it by the same name, the Hunter Craig Trophy. Okay, boys?
Well, fellows, I know that we all feel the same way toward thanking Mr. Randall. And I know you'll all agree with me that this has been a great day for Fair Oaks. And now to end our celebration, I'm going to ask Ed Dixon to lead us in a Fair Oaks yell. All right, Ed.
All right, gang, let's have the locomotive. F-A-I-R-O-A-K-S-S-A-I-R-O-A-K-S. Fair Oaks.
Well, hello, Mark Anthony.
What do you mean, Mark Antony?
Well, I mean, you made such a swell speech tonight accepting the trophy.
Oh, cut it out, will you? I couldn't think of anything to say.
You're telling me. Yeah, I should think a swell horseman like you could have thought of something to say.
Oh, yeah? Say, it's a good thing I thought of something, is that dumb horse of mine almost didn't go over that last jump.
Didn't go over the last jump? Hey, what do you mean?
That's what I mean. Lee, Tubby, when Blue Comet...
That's the name of the horse.
Yeah. When Blue Comet almost didn't go over that last hurdle, I pretended I was pulling him in.
You mean that you didn't really pull him in?
Of course not. I just pretended. And then I had them raise the hurdle a foot higher, because I knew if we lost on that last hurdle, we'd have only tied anyway. And, well, if we won, well, we'd win the whole meet. Well, that was logical, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was logic. Yeah, the same kind of logic Max says you've got.
Well, what do you mean?
Irish logic, my friend. Irish logic.
Jack Benny program.
American.
Fine tobacco is what counts in a cigarette. And
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes,
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Year after year, at auction after auction, independent tobacco experts, men who spend their lives buying, selling, and handling tobacco, can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
Fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. Real Lucky Strike tobacco. Fine tobacco that means real deep down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
American.
The Lucky Strike program starring Jack Benny with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Rochester, Dennis Day, yours truly, Don Wilson, and our guest stars Victor Moore, Peter Lind Hayes, and Frank Capra.
Well, if it isn't yours truly, Don Wilson.
Hello, Rochester. Is Mr. Benny in?
No, Mr. Benny took Miss Livingston to the movies.
Oh, well, when he comes back, will you tell him that... Say, Rochester, did you bake a cake or something? I smell melted butter.
Oh, that. Well, you see, every time Mr. Benny goes to the movies, I make him a bag of popcorn.
That's ridiculous. Why doesn't he buy it at the theater? With butter and everything, it must cost more to make your popcorn at home.
Theoretically, yes, but actually, no.
What do you mean?
Well, I make 2 bags, and he sells one of them to Miss Livingston.
Oh, I see. Well, in that way, you break even.
Break even? Since the OPA went off, we're showing a profit.
But, Rochester, don't you take a loss on the kernels that don't pop?
Mr. Benny will pop them if he has to take them to a blast furnace.
Well, as long as Jack isn't home, I think I'll run along.
If you care to wait, he ought to be back any minute now. They went to the neighborhood theater.
Gosh, Jack, I'm sure glad you took me to see It's a Wonderful Life. I think it's a marvelous picture.
Yeah.
I thought the direction was great. Jimmy Stewart was sensational.
Yeah, sensational.
Jimmy gave that part just what it needed. I thought his acting was superb.
All right, so his acting was superb. He's supposed to be a great actor. That's what he got paid for.
Well, Jack, I saw your last picture.
I returned the money. So don't be so smart. Anyway, Mary, don't get me wrong. I like the picture It's a Wonderful Life, but it's awfully hard to believe that part where Jimmy Stewart's angel comes down and shows him what would have happened if he hadn't been born. I don't know, it's too fantastic.
Oh, you've been mad at pictures ever since they put out Bank Night.
I have not. It's just that I don't...
Oh, Jack, let's stop and look in this jewelry window.
Okay.
Gee, what gorgeous jewelry they have here.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jack.
What?
Look at that beautiful engagement ring.
Mary, are you hinting?
Uh-huh.
Well, it won't do you any good. I'll never wear it. Come on, Mary, let's go.
No, I want to look at all these things in the window.
Okay.
Oh, Martha. What is it, Emily? Isn't that Jack Benny standing over there? Well, I declare. My, but he's handsome. Every time I see him, I get weak and wobbly all over. Oh, Martha. It's the truth, Emily. He really sends me. And if I was 20 years younger, I'd go. Emily, who's that girl with Mr. Benny? Why, that's Mary Livingston. Look how tight she's holding on to his arm. I'd like to go over and pull her hair out. Oh, stop being so irritable. You've been acting like this ever since Van Johnson got married. You should talk, Emily. You broke your baseball bat when Lippy married Lorraine. Anyway, I think Jack Benny is...
Quiet. Here they come.
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Well, hello there. Isn't it rather late for you girls to be out? Come on, Mary. Let's go. Gee, Mary, Wilshire Boulevard looks beautiful at night, doesn't it?
Yeah, all the light and... Say, Jack, isn't that Frank Capra?
Who?
Frank Capra, the man who directs the picture we just saw. It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes, it is. Hello, Frank.
Hello, Jack. Mary?
Well, this is a coincidence, Frank. We just came from seeing your picture.
Really? I go to that theater every day.
You go to see your picture every day?
No, I just go for the newsreel. I love to hear the governors of Georgia talk.
Oh.
Mr. Capra, I want to congratulate you on your direction of It's a Wonderful Life. I thought it was great.
Thank you, Mary. How'd you like it, Jack?
Oh, I thought it was fine, Frank, but that part about the guardian angel was just a little too unbelievable.
Well, Jack, in the picture I didn't try to show what did happen. I tried to show what could happen if someone had never been born.
I know,
For example, what do you think would have happened if you'd never been born?
Well...
There'd be a lot more money in circulation.
Mary, stop. But all in all, Frank, I did think it was a very entertaining picture.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Jack. Well, I have to run along now.
Oh, just a minute, Frank. I'm glad we ran into each other because I've been wanting to talk to you about a picture for me.
For you?
Yes, you see, the studios have all been after me, but I thought that you, with your great insight into human nature, might better capture my personality.
Jack, I'm late already.
Think of it, Frank, think of it. Frank Capra presents Jack Benny in King Lear. Then there's a tremendous blast of trumpets, and the scene opens with me in royal robes walking majestically toward the throne. Can't you just see it, Frank? Can't you? Can't you?
Jack, let go of his collar. His face is turning blue.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, smog or no smog, it's good to be breathing again.
What?
Well, so long, King Lear. See you later. Goodbye, Mary.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Frank. Come on, Mary. I'll walk you home.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Oh, quiet. Rochester! Oh, Rochester!
Is that you, boss?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson dropped by, but I told him you were at the movies and he wouldn't wait.
Oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Come here a minute and... Rochester, what's that penny on the table?
Huh? Oh, while Mr. Wilson was here, he stepped into the bathroom and weighed himself.
Good. How much does Mr. Wilson weigh now?
I don't know, but you got a lot of broken tile in the bathroom. Say, boss, how'd you like the picture?
It's a Wonderful Life? Oh, very much, Rochester, but a little too fantastic. You know, the angel and everything. I don't know. Hey, Rochester, I'm a little sick to my stomach. I'm going to the medicine cabinet and take something. There it is. A couple of swallows of this, and I'll feel much better. This ought to fix me up. Oh, darn it, I dropped the glass. Well, I'll just drink a little out of the bottle and... Oh, my goodness. Look at that label. This is iodine. I almost poisoned myself. Oh, boy, am I glad I dropped the glass. What a lucky accident.
That was no accident, Jack.
Huh?
I knocked the glass out of your hand.
You knocked it... Wait a minute. How did you get in here? Who are you?
I'm your guardian angel.
What? My guardian angel?
Yes, I've been watching over you all of your life. I've guided you and I've protected you.
Guided me? Protected me?
Yes, I've governed every move you ever made.
Oh, you mean it's you who kept me from spending my money?
No, you've done pretty well with that yourself.
But you saved my life, and you don't even know me.
Oh, you're wrong, Jack. I know everything about you. Remember when you were 7 years old, you broke a window and you blamed it on your sister, Florence?
Yeah. Yes, that's right.
I remember when you were 10 years old, how proud you were when you put on your first toupee.
That was for a school play.
Well, the play is over. Take it off.
Say, you do know a lot of things about me. Well, Angel, it was nice of you to save my life, and come again sometime. Huh?
Oh, I can't go yet, because you see, I was sent down here to prove something to you.
Prove what?
I'm going to show you what would have happened if you had never been born.
You mean like what I saw in the picture tonight?
Yes. Come with me.
No. I'm not coming with you. No, sir, I'm afraid.
Oh, you're nothing to fear. Come on now, come on.
I'm not coming with you. Let go of my arm. Let go of my arm. Rochester! Rochester! That's funny. Rochester!
You have no Rochester.
What do you mean I have no Rochester? You've been my butler for 10 years.
No, he hasn't. You've never been born.
You mean there's no Jack Denny?
That's right. Now come. Come with me.
Hey, where are we? What are we doing in this department store?
This is the May Company.
Oh, yes. And there's Mary behind the stocking counter, like she used to be years ago. What is she doing back here?
She never left here. You see, you were never born to take her away.
She looks good.
Well, of course, she's been eating regularly.
Oh, this whole thing is crazy. I'm going over to Mary and ask her myself. Oh, Mary! Mary!
Yes, sir? What can I do for you?
What are you doing behind the stocking counter? Why aren't you on the radio?
Well, that's a new approach. They generally ask me why I'm not in pictures.
But, Mary, please, don't you recognize me? Don't you know me? Have you forgotten all about our radio work?
What radio work?
What work? Are you crazy? What do you do every Sunday afternoon at 4 o'clock?
I take a bath. Do you mind?
Mary, please listen to me.
I'll thank you not to be so familiar. Please call me by my last name.
Okay. Now, listen, Miss Livingston.
It's Mrs. Klingenpeel. Mrs. Herman Klingenpeel.
Mrs.? You're married? I can't believe... Just a little while ago, you tried to buy me an engagement ring. You can't be married.
Well, ask my husband. He's a floor walker.
What?
Here he comes now.
Oh, yes. Mister?
Yes?
Is this true? Are you two married?
Well, if we're not, we certainly gypped the bride and groom program out of a 2-week honeymoon.
Oh, stop. Mary, this is all a terrible mistake. Angel, where are you?
Just a minute. I'm opening a charge account.
Well, what's taking you so long?
They don't believe my address.
Never mind that now. Take me out of here. Take me to Dennis Day. He'll know me.
All right, Jack. Hold on. Here we go.
Angel, what are we doing here in New York City?
Why, don't you recognize this place? This is Studio H in NBC.
Oh, yeah. And there's Dennis Day walking up to the microphone. Oh, Dennis!
Sorry, Pop. No autograph.
I don't want your autograph. Dennis, don't you recognize me? I'm Jack Denny.
Who?
Denny. Jack Denny. Listen. Can it be the trees that fill the breeze with rare and magic perfume?
I don't know about the perfume, but your singing stinks.
Angel, he doesn't even know me.
Well, of course he doesn't know you. Jack Benny doesn't exist.
Doesn't?
You're still waiting to be born.
Waiting to be born? That's ridiculous. Look at my hair. It's gray.
Yeah, you've been waiting a long time.
Dennis, think a minute. I'm Jack Benny, the man you work for.
Oh, no, mister, you're wrong. I work for that man over there. The one with the baggy eyes.
Where?
Thank you, and welcome to... Hey, what's going on here? I've got a program to do, and I don't need any outside help.
Why, you're Fred Allen.
You were expecting maybe Uncle Remus?
Now, wait a minute, Fred, wait a minute. Don't you pretend you never met me either.
I'm sorry. I don't believe I ever had the pleasure.
Pleasure? Fred, look at me. I'm Jack Benny. The man you hate.
Me? Me hate anybody. Why, everyone knows Fred Allen loves the whole world. I love my writers. I love the NBC vice president and the censors, too. I love the little lads and lassies who ask me for my autograph as they wipe their little noses on my sleeve. And believe me, sir, I love you, too.
Angel, there must be something wrong. Fred Allen doesn't hate anybody.
Certainly, you weren't born yet.
Wait a minute, Fred. You and Dennis are just pretending you don't know me. But the rest of your cast will.
The rest of my cast? There are no other performers on my program, just Dennis and myself.
Oh, yeah? What about Senator Claghorn and Titus Moody and Ajax Cassidy?
Why, I thought everybody knew Dennis plays all those parts.
You mean Dennis is Senator Claghorn?
I'm from the South, son. I just got back from a party, and I'm in my cup. Dixie, that is.
Wait a minute. And he's Titus Moody?
Howdy, Bub.
Dennis, and you play Ajax Cassidy, too? How do you feel playing all those parts?
Oh, terrible. And I'm not long for this world.
Angel, there must be someone who knows me. I know. Take me to see Don Wilson. He's worked for me for 14 years. He'll remember me. Don's been with me through thick and thin.
All right, Jack, I'll take you to see Mr. Wilson.
Gee, you're such an obliging angel. Don't you mind taking me from one person to another?
No, I get mortal to mortal pay.
Oh, good. Well, come on, let's go.
Well, here we are in Lexington, Kentucky.
Lexington, Kentucky?
Yes, there's Mr. Wilson sitting on the porch. He owns this big tobacco plantation.
Hey, Don Wilson.
Colonel Wilson to you, sir. Waukegan, Illinois, named Benny. Nice people. Always wish they had a son.
They had a son. It's me.
Well, I don't know anything about that, but if you'll excuse me, I got to talk to my tobacco pickers. Here they come.
The tobacco pickers?
Yes. Hello, fellas.
You all. You all. Don. Colonel Wilson. Hemo boy. That's my quartet, the Sportsmen.
I don't know anything about a quartet, sir, but these boys are happy in their work picking that fine, that light, that naturally mild Lucky Strike tobacco.
Don.
And they keep singing all the time, always singing.
Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away.
LSMFTO,
There's where my heart is turning ever. There's where the auctioneers play. Where Effie Boone and Speedy Ray learn to sing and chant. LSMFTO, there's where my heart is turning ever. There's where the old folks stay. Effie Boone and Speedy still longing for the old plantation.
Fellas, don't walk away.
They're gone, Jack. Are you convinced now?
Yeah, I'm convinced. Angel, take me back home, please.
No, not yet, Jack. There's one more place I'd like to show you. Come.
Where are we? What town is this?
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee? Why, that's where Phil Harris comes from.
Yeah, and this is the nightclub where he works.
Phil Harris works in this awful dump?
Yes, you see, you weren't born, so you never took him away from here.
Well, I'm glad. This is where he belongs. Let's go in and see him.
All right. Follow me right down these stairs.
That's what a crummy nightclub. Look at the name of it. The Ruiz Club.
What about it?
Ruiz spelled backwards is sore.
That makes very little difference to Mr. Harris. He can't even spell frontwards. Come on, Jack. Follow me down these stairs.
Wait. All right. Watch it. Let's rest. If I go down any farther, I'll get the bend.
Well, I don't like this any more than you do. I'm an angel, and the further down I go, the nearer I get to enemy territory.
Well, I guess it's just a few more steps down. Here we are.
Won't you come with me to Alabama? Let's go see my girl, Mammy. She's frying eggs and boiling hammy, and that's what I like about the South. There you can make no mistake, where those nerves are never shaky. All the taste are layer cakey, and that's what I like about the South.
Angel, isn't that awful?
Yes, that's why we sent you so much thunder. We're trying to drown him out.
Thanks.
Well, folks, here I am again, your favorite master of ceremonies, Phil Harris. Funny thing happened to me today, folks. Guy walked up to me and said, Mr. Harris, where'd you get that black eye? So I told him it was a birthmark, and he said, a birthmark? And I said, yeah, I got the wrong birth. Don't explain it to him, lady. If you don't get it, just let him suffer. Let him lay there. Don't tell him nothing.
Well, Phil Harris.
Pardon me, folks. There's an old heckler down here in the front row. Yeah? What do you want, Bob?
Phil, look at me. Look at me, Phil. Don't you recognize me?
I never saw you before in my life, Buster.
But I'm Jack Benny. I'm your boss.
What do you mean, boss? I own this joint myself. Lock, stock, and demi-junk. That barrel. Don't tell me what to keep my bourbon in.
All right, so you don't work for me, but what does Alice think about you being here?
Who?
Alice Faye, your wife.
Alice Faye, the moving picture star, married to me?
Yes.
Hey, waiter, what's the idea of selling this old gentleman more than one zombie?
Look, I'm not drunk. Aren't you married to Alice Faye?
Of course I ain't. That's my little wife right over there. Hey, baby, come here. I'd like you to meet someone.
Any friend of yours is a friend of mine, talent boy.
Well, wait a minute. You should know me. You're my girlfriend. You're Gladys Zabisco.
Gladys Zabisco, Harris, if you please, and I never went out with you in my life.
Look, honey, maybe you went out with a guy on a blind date.
I'd never get that blind.
But you must remember me. Look at me. Look.
Come on, Jack. I think we better be going again.
Well, all right, Angel. But I'm not licked yet. I'll prove to you that I was born.
Well, I'll give you one last chance. Where do you want me to take you now?
Let's see. I know. Take me to Warner Brothers Studios. They'll know me there.
Jack, here we are at the studio.
Yeah, and there's the executive officer. Let's go in and see the Warner Brothers. See, listen to him laugh. Listen to him. Listen to him. Why are the Warner Brothers so happy?
Because you were never born, so You didn't make the horn blows at midnight.
Oh, I see. Listen to me, Mr. Warner. Listen to me. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Where do they go? Where do they... Oh, Angel. Angel. Angel, where are you?
Here I am, boss.
Huh? Oh, hello, Rochester.
I rushed in here when I heard a glass crash.
Oh, yes. I just dropped my medicine.
Your medicine? The boss, that bottle in your hand is iodine.
I know. I was just putting it back. Thanks, Rochester. Ladies and gentlemen, the part of the angel was played by Victor Moore, who will soon be seen in that wonderful picture It Happened on Fifth Avenue. Fred Allen was impersonated by Peter Lynn Hayes, while Frank Capra appeared through the courtesy of Mr. Capra. The bottle of iodine came from the corner drugstore.
Jack will be back in just a minute, but first, here is my good friend, Basil Rysdale.
As you listen to the chant of the tobacco auctioneer, remember LSMFT.
American.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts.
Mr. Floyd Green Clay of Versailles, Kentucky, has been an independent tobacco warehouseman for 26 years. He said,
I've seen American buy tobacco that's ripe and mild. Tobacco with real flavor and melanin. And I know you can't beat that fine tobacco for top smoking enjoyment. I've smoked Lucky's myself for 17 years.
Remember, at auction after auction, year after year, independent tobacco experts like Mr. Clay can see the makers of Lucky Strike consistently select and buy that fine, that light, that naturally mild tobacco.
fine, light, naturally mild tobacco. No doubt about it.
LSMFT.
Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. Yes, LSMFT. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and fine tobacco means real, deep-down smoking enjoyment for you.
So smoke that smoke of fine tobacco, Lucky Strike. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw.
Say, Rochester, have you ever had a feeling that there's somebody watching everything you do? You know, somebody who knows every move you make, knows everywhere you go, even when you think he doesn't?
Yes, boy.
You know who it is?
Yes, now we should cut it out.
I don't mean me. Good night.
This is NBC, the national broadcasting company. Good health to all from Rexall. It's the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, presented by the makers of Rexall drug products and 10,000 independent Rexall family druggists.
This is your Rexall family druggist, here to say good evening and welcome from all 10,000 of us. The 10,000 independent druggists who have made the word Rexall part of our own store names. You've learned to know us by the orange and blue Rexall sign on our windows. But still another identification is that we carry the 2,000 or more drug products made by the Rexall Drug Company. Like Bismarex, for example. This soothing antacid is one of Rexall's most famous products, for good reasons. Its scientifically balanced ingredients vary in the time required for solubility, so that Bismarex works in a continuous relay to bring you prompt and prolonged relief from acid indigestion. Year in and year out quality like this is what we family druggists are talking about when we tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to
you all from Rexall. And now your Rexall family druggist brings you the Phil Harris Alice Faye Show, written by Ray Singer and Dick Chevrolet, with Elliot Lewis, Walter Tetley, Robert North, Janine Ruth, Ann Whitfield, Walter Sharp in his music, yours truly, Bill Foreman, and starring Alice Faye and Phil Harris. Yesterday, the Rexall Company's Board of Directors had a special meeting to discuss a proposed television show. It concerns Phil and Alice, so let's go back to yesterday's meeting. Mr. Scott is speaking.
And so, gentlemen, I'm in favor of doing a television show starring Phil Harris.
But, J.S., do you think it's advisable to let the public see what Harris looks like?
Oh, he doesn't look that bad. Besides, I don't think we'll get any complaints as long as we don't put the show on around dinner time.
Oh, Harris might be all right for television. I don't care much for him personally, but he seems to go great with the women. My wife raves about him. She thinks he's a fine actor, very funny comedian, and a splendid singer.
Your wife?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know you were married. I've been over to your house a number of times. I've never met your wife.
I know, sir. We keep her up in the attic.
A wise move. Well, gentlemen, let's at least test Harris for television.
Very well. Let's have a few cameras at his radio rehearsal tomorrow and see how he photographs.
Mommy, what's taking Daddy so long to come down this morning?
Oh, he's getting dressed for our rehearsal. They're televising it today, and he wants to look good for the cameras.
What's Daddy going to wear?
Well, I don't know, but he's a smart showman. He's been watching television for years now, and he knows what the public likes. Phil, are you ready?
I reckon I'm a hankered to hit the trail, Ma.
Phil, what are you made up for? What have you got on?
Hop along Cassidy outfit, gal. I know what plays in television.
Oh, for heaven's sake, Phil, take that outfit off.
Stop chawing your cud, woman. Just saddle your pinto Clyde and let's head for the old video corral.
Gee, Daddy, you don't look like Hoppy. You make a silly-looking cowboy.
Smile when you say that, little beaver.
Oh, Phil, you don't have to be a cowboy. There are a lot of things you can do to be successful in television.
Like what?
Well, you can either be a wrestler, give cooking lessons, or become a talking dragon.
I could become a marching cigarette, too. Look, I can't miss being a big hit as a cowboy. All I need is a catchy name like Hopalong Cassidy. It should be a name that fits my character, though.
How about Stagger Around Harris?
Well, if it ain't the dude from Horner's Corner. Come on in, tenderhead. Pull up a hot branding iron and sit down.
Philip, what on earth are you doing in that cowboy suit?
Well, we're auditioning our show for television, and he thinks this is the best way to do it.
Well, Philip, if you insist on going into television, don't mimic anybody. Be yourself. I know that sounds dull, but with good writing, you might prove mediocre.
Don't worry about me. Alice is the one we have to worry about.
Me?
Yeah. How do I know you'll photograph? After all, you're not Betty Grable and...
Hold it! Makes you think Betty Grable would be better than me in television.
Oh, she can't miss. She's got a lot of personality.
I've got just as much personality.
She's very photogenic.
I'm just as photogenic.
She's still in pictures.
You thought it takes 4-way cold tablets. Of course, you'd rather have Betty Grable on the show instead of me,
honey, stop with that. I'm only kidding.
I don't know.
I don't want anybody but you, baby. I'm nuts about you. Kid, you're my everything.
You couldn't live without me, could you?
Oh, I could live without you. I just have to go to work, that's all. You know something? You're going to be great in television, honey. I can't wait to hear you sing.
Neither can I, so I'll do it right now. Look what you done, my baby. Look what you done, my child. Look what you done, my baby. You done gone and told me a lie. You told a lie, I believed you. Look what you've done to my heart. You told a lie, I believed you. I was a fool from the start. I thought that you and I would be together. I never dreamed we would part. But you told a lie, I believed you. Look what you've done to my heart. What you done, my baby. Look what you done, my child. Look what you done, my baby. You gonna told me a lie. I thought that you and I would be together. I never dreamed we would part. But you told a lie, I believe you. And look what you've done to my heart. Look what you done, my baby. Look what you done, my child. Look what you done, my baby. Look what you've done to my heart.
That was swell, Alice.
Oh, thanks. And look, we have to get down to rehearsal, so go upstairs and take off that outfit, pony boy. You look silly.
I do not. I'll make a very dashing cowboy. Oh, I'll get that. That's probably Frankie. Oh, wait till he sees me in this outfit. Oh, you'll love it.
Hiya, Curly. I thought...
Howdy, stranger. You must be the new marshal down from Red Gulch.
Huh?
Or are you the Redskin scout from the Apache tribe?
Yeah, me Redskin. What's with Paleface? Got snoot full of firewater?
I'll be an Albuquerque rug merchant. Just pretending that I'm a cowboy. You see, Frankie, I got a new deal cooking.
Well, so we better get started to the... Oh, hello, Frankie. I said hello, Frankie. Well, don't stand there. Say something.
Pontiac, fine car.
Oh, Frankie, what's going on here?
He say he cowboy, me Indian. Me no ask questions. Me go along with gag. Huh?
All right, turn it off, running water. It doesn't happen to be a gag. Remley, I got news for you. I'm going into television. Just think. Instead of having to watch them old movies, the public's going to get to look at Phil Harris.
Oh, those lucky people. Alice, do you realize how fortunate you are being the wife of the greatest boon to mankind since rubber pants?
I'm just thrilled to pieces. The eighth wonder of the world, and he's all mine.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, eight? According to the last telephone survey, I was third. Just 0.2 of a point behind the Grand Canyon. Now, come on, let's get out that rehearsal. The band's going to be waiting for us. And so, fellas, that's why I got down here to see you early. You see, I want you all to look your best when they test you for television. And that's why... All right, knock it off. Break it up, will you? Stop beefing. They're paying scale now. Are there any questions?
Yeah. What's television?
What's television? Artie, you must have seen it in your natural habitat, the bar room. I know you've seen it there.
I don't go to bar rooms anymore.
Since when?
Since the brewery put a pipeline into my apartment.
All right. Pipeline into your... I wonder what the installation charge is. Now, look, fellas, when you get in front of them cameras, I want you to try and look presentable, will you?
Phil, if you want the boys to look presentable, why don't you let me design uniforms for them?
Wait a minute. What kind of uniform?
Well, I have something very colorful in mind, Frankie. You'll look very smart in royal blue best jackets, a maroon sash around the waist, and yellow trousers with a brocaded stripe down the side.
Well, la-di-da.
That sounds cute to me. Hey, Alice, can I have epaulets on mine to show I'm the leader?
All this fuss about uniforms and how we're going to look. I don't see why you're so anxious to go into television anyway, Curly. You won't be able to sing.
What are you talking about? I'm still going to sing.
But, Curly, you can't do that on television. As soon as you open your mouth and they see your throat, you'll give the whole thing away.
What whole thing?
Everybody will see you got a trained frog down there doing the singing for you.
Hey, Frankie, I'll make a deal with you.
What?
If you keep quiet about my trained frog, I won't say nothing about the monkey who's playing your guitar from the inside. Now tune up that monk while I run over the song I'm going to do, son. Up in the morning, out on the job, work like the devil for my pay. But that lucky old son got nothing to do but rule around heaven all day. Show me that river, take me across, wash all my troubles away. Like that lucky old son, give me nothing to do but rule around heaven all day. Lord above, can't you know he's smiling? Tears all in his eyes. Send down that cloud with a silver lining. Lift him to paradise. I'm up every morning, back on my job. Work like the devil for my pay. But that lucky old son got nothing to do but rule around heaven all day. Fuss with my woman, toil for my kids, work till I'm wrinkled and gray, while that lucky old son, he ain't got nothing to do but rule around heaven all day. Good Lord above,
mine. Send down that cloud with a silver lining. Lift me to paradise. Show me that river. Take me across. Wash all my troubles away. Like that lucky old sun. Give me nothing to do but roll around heaven all day.
That was splendid, Harris.
Oh, hiya, Scotty.
Oh, hello, Mr. Scott. We've been waiting for you.
That's about time you showed up. I got the television cameras set up, and I know exactly what we're going to do.
Remley, nobody asked you.
Nobody ever does, but I'm telling you anyway. Now, here's my idea.
Please, we don't need your help, so keep your anemic little mind inactive. And your big fat mouth shut. I've decided what kind of a show we're going to do.
Bravissimo, Mr. Scott.
We're going to do something novel, something that has never been done before. The Adventures of a Private Eye.
Oh, that's indeed novel, sir.
Yeah. There hasn't been a new Private Eye show on the air for nigh on a half an hour. What's different about a Private Eye?
The way we approach it. I bought a script with a very unusual slant. Harris, you've heard of the famous radio detectives Richard Diamond and Sam Spade?
Yeah.
Well, you're going to be known as Harry Hart.
Harry Hart?
And I'll be your assistant, Cornelius Clubb.
And I'll be your secretary, Nora No Trump.
Well, let's get started with the play now. Whose deal is it?
I'll thank you people not to get corny.
We're corny. Who wrote this thing? A poker dealer at the Flamingo Club?
I bought it from a brilliant young writer. He's a genius. He'll be over a little later to help with it.
Well, wait a minute now. What character do I play in this thing?
Well, you're a red-headed Irish detective. You're tough, you're good-looking, and you're irresistible to women.
Uh-huh. Well, I don't know who this writer is, but he's captured the real me. There's only one thing that bothers me. I ain't a redhead.
That ain't the only thing you ain't. Let's try it anyway. Remley, you play the part of Mr. Harris's stupid assistant, which proves the writer captured your character, too. Miss Faye, you play the part of an alluring, seductive young siren. Every man who looks at you goes mad about you.
No, you've struck a nerve, Doc.
All right, let's try it in front of the cameras now. As the scene opens, Harris, you're on the trail of a murderer, and you're about to enter a bookstore that is owned by Miss Faye. Now remember, play it tough and fearless like Sam Spade.
Okay.
All right, we'll start with the sound of footsteps as Harris and Remley approach the bookstore.
Well, here's the bookstore, Jake. There we going in?
Of course we are. Come on, sweetheart.
But, Chief, it might be a trap.
Trap, snap.
That's what I mean. They might snap the trap.
Remember, you don't have to play it that stupid. Too much. Little broad. Now, come on, let's go in.
Hey, Chief, get a load of that good-looking tomato behind the counter.
Yeah. Better let me talk to her. Hiya, sweetheart.
What can I do for you, big ball?
Get your foot off the gas. You're racing your motor. Look, sweetheart, I just came in here to tell you that...
Oh, you irresistible brute, you. I love you madly. Take me in your arms and kiss me. Kiss me. Kiss me.
Playing hard to get, eh? Look, sweetheart, I just came in to buy a book.
A book? Oh, you fool, you. Take me in your arms and caress me. Caress me.
Is this what happens when you walk into a store to buy a book? All these years I've been letting the Book of the Month Club stand. That way at home. I'm here. Tell me what you want. I'm here.
Come over here.
I'll be here forever if you keep acting that way.
Come over here and kiss me, you great big blob of man.
All right, if you insist, okay. But you better brace yourself, sweetheart, because I'm rough and I'm tough, and I got a terrific strength on account of my build. Now put your arms around me. Tighter. Tighter.
Is this tight enough, lover?
Yeah. Please, Alice, you're bruising me. Now, sweetheart, I'm going to kiss you. And don't fight me because I'm irresistible.
I'm seductive.
I'm stupid.
Happy to take a part like this.
All right. Now, look, sweetheart. I'm on the trail of a murderer, and I suspect he's hiding out here.
Don't be a dick. This is just a bookstore, and my husband and I live in the back. We're quite harmless.
What was that?
My husband's burping the baby.
Well, I get it. Your husband, eh? Well, that's the guy I'm after. All right, come on out. And don't make a false move because I got you covered. I want to talk to you.
What's on your mind, Mac?
Julia, what are you doing here?
I'm the young genius that wrote the script. Now then, shall we continue?
Oh, all right. Now look, babyface. I got you covered, so you might as well put your gun away. Wait a minute. That gun looks like the murder weapon. I'm going to check. Toss me one of them bullets out of that gun.
Okay.
Ooh.
Nice catch.
You shot the chief, but you won't get away. I'm still here. I had to open my big mouth.
Nice shot, babyface.
Yeah, I banked that one. And now, Tommy, come into my arms and let me kiss you and kiss you and kiss you and... We better sit down, Miss Faye. This goes on for 2 pages.
Julius, you can stop now. This whole thing is childish. For the present, Rexall will forget television and stick with our radio show. All right, Harrison Remley, you can get up now. I said you can get up now. Julius, why don't they get up?
I don't know. Unless it's because I used real bullets.
Julius, you did...
Did you, my boy?
Alice and Phil will be back in just a moment. But first, here's your Rexall family druggist.
When Old Man Winter is just around the corner, I get to wishing I was a vitamin in Rexall's laboratory.
For heaven's sake, why?
Well, ma'am, picture a nice big air-conditioned room where the temperature is kept around 70 degrees all year through. Not too hot, not too cold.
Hey, that does sound good.
Just such a room in Rexall's laboratory is where the valuable and delicate ingredients that go into Rexall Plenamins are stored.
Plenamins?
That's Rexall's famous multiple vitamin capsules. To be sure they have the correct potency, Rexall scientists let them enjoy this air-conditioned comfort until they're ready to be packaged. Then they're sealed and sent to our stores. That's one reason why Rexall can guarantee you that 2 of these Plenamon capsules daily supply more than the daily minimum requirements of every vitamin for which such requirements have been established. And it's one more reason why 10,000 family druggists tell you you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Good health to all from Rexall.
Hey, it's too bad we're not going to go into that television, Mr. Scott. I bet I looked terrific in those cameras, didn't I?
No. No, the only one who looked good was you, Miss Faye. You looked beautiful. Rexall will be proud to have your lovely face associated with our wonderful products. When your gorgeous blonde hair and those beautiful blue eyes are seen on the screen, I know the public...
Yeah, now about me.
Phil. Don't interrupt the sponsor. He's in the midst of the best commercial he's ever done.
You won't have any trouble selling me to the public either. My looks ain't only attractive, but they're commercial, too. Remember, you can depend on any head that bears the face of Phil Harris.
This program was produced and directed by Paul Phillips. Buy Rexall's MI31 if you want a famous mouthwash at less cost. Here's why. Many other antiseptics come in 12 or 14-ounce bottles, but Rexall gives you 16 ounces of MI31, a full pint, at the same price as other leading brands of smaller quantity. It's one more example of Rexall's creed. Always a little better, always a little more. Ask for Rexall MI31 at the store with the orange and blue Rexall sign on the window. And remember, you can depend on any drug product that bears the name Rexall.
Your tune for the stars on NBC.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Columbia Broadcasting System invites you to sit back, relax, and listen to Eddie Anderson in The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones. Rochester, you look sad. What's the trouble?
I've got a problem. It looks like I'm going to lose my girl, Susie. She's been having dates with another fella.
He's making pretty good time with her, huh?
Time and a half. And double time on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays.
Yes, it's The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones. The amusing adventures of the happy-go-lucky fellow who works for that famous man in Beverly Hills, and brought to you by the Columbia Broadcasting System. This afternoon, we find Rochester just going up the steps of his girl's house.
Kiss me once and kiss me twice and kiss me once again. It's been a long, long...
Oh, Franklin, darling, I was just waiting for you.
Franklin, look again, honey.
Oh, it's you.
Can I come in?
Uh-huh.
Cheer up, honey. The captain of your love boat is here to set sail on a voyage of love and adventure.
Oh, Rochester, why did you open that closet door?
I'm looking for a stowaway. Well, we might as well lay our cards on the table. It seems like I'm losing ground to this Franklin fella.
Well, Franklin takes me places and shows me a good time. Yesterday he took me on a picnic, and today he's taking me driving.
Well, you've had some pretty good times with me, too, Susie. Last week I took you to a movie, didn't I?
Rochester, taking me down to the corner radio store and letting me look through the window at a television isn't exactly taking me to a movie.
Well, what about that bag of popcorn?
I bought that.
Oh, yes. Well, I can't afford too many luxuries.
A movie isn't a luxury. If you'd work out a budget, you'd be able to afford a movie once in a while.
Honey, I can't even afford a budget. Besides, you used to like to stay home and sit on the couch with me. What's happened, Susie?
Well, I'm tired of a man who keeps one arm around me and the other under cushions looking for loose change. Why aren't you like Franklin? Oh, look, Franklin bought me this 5-pound box of chocolates.
Wait a minute. I just noticed that picture on the mantelpiece. So
yes, that's Franklin Monroe. Isn't he handsome? That picture was taken 5 years ago.
He was in uniform then, huh?
Uh-huh.
1, 2, 3, 4 ribbons on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
And 5 stripes on his sleeve.
Uh-huh.
Where was he stationed?
In the balcony of the Orpheum.
Oh, yeah. That's a flashlight in his holster. Well, I guess it ain't up to me to say anything about him, but he sure has shifty eyes.
Shifty eyes?
And look at the way his ears droop. I read someplace that that's the mark of a criminal.
Rochester.
Honey, I'm sorry I said anything. It just slipped out. I hate a man who's always running other people down, even when they deserve it. I think Franklin's a great guy, and I know you'll be loyal to him whether he goes to jail or not.
Rochester, I want you to stop talking that way. Oh, that must be Franklin.
Hooray.
Oh, hello, Franklin. Come in.
Hello, baby.
This is Rochester.
Rochester? This can't be the same Rochester you told me about the first time I took you up to Mulholland Drive and tried to kiss you. You said he was 6 feet tall and weighed 200 pounds.
Well, I didn't know you very well then.
Well, glad to meet you, old man.
Hello.
Oh, Franklin, you've got on a new suit.
Yeah, how you like it?
Oh, you look so handsome in it.
This is just a plain gabardine, but I'm going to get another suit with stripes.
That's just what I was telling Susan.
What?
Oh, nothing.
You ought to try my tailor, Rochester. He can run up a beautiful suit for $125. Of course, if you want something like this, why, it's a little more.
No, I like the material in the suit I'm wearing. It wears like iron.
Yeah, I notice it's rusted through at the elbows. Susie, honey, you're looking more beautiful than ever.
Oh, Franklin.
You sure are the most glamorous creature in the world.
Well, it's nice of you to say that, but I know you're just flattering me.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yes, you are. I'm not that pretty. Am I, Rochester?
Of course not.
Rochester!
I'm just trying to be agreeable.
Well, Susie, you ready to go?
Yeah, as soon as I get my coat on. What car do you have today?
Now, my boss let me take the Cadillac. The 2 big cars are being lubricated.
He sure is nice to you, Franklin. And you get a big salary, too.
You drive his Cadillac and get a salary, too?
Well, of course.
How long has this been going on?
He appreciates having a man of intelligence around him. And I appreciate working for the most important and one of the most generous men in Beverly Hills. What about your boss?
He's important.
Well, say, tell me, did he let you have his car today?
Oh, he would have, but I was in a hurry, so I walked. But he's a wonderful guy.
Yeah? Is he generous?
He's got a great sense of humor. And very democratic. Whenever the car breaks down, he always gets out and helps me push.
Any boss would do that once in a while.
We do it all the time.
I'm ready, Franklin.
My arm, Susie. Come in, Rochester.
Okay.
Can I drop you anywhere, Rochester?
No, thanks.
Get right in, honey. Well, goodbye, Rochester. Nice seeing you, old man.
Goodbye, Rochester.
Goodbye.
Rochester?
Hello, Devilgrass.
I'm going to have to ask you to move a little. I'm going to turn on the sprinklers.
Turn 'em on, turn 'em on. What if I do get wet and catch pneumonia and die? Who cares?
Well, Rochester, you look like a man who won a television set and then found out he was allergic to horses.
Worse than that. Susie's brushing me off for another guy.
What's the matter with that girl? How could she turn down a man like you for somebody else?
That's a question I've been avoiding all afternoon.
Now, I can see why a girl turns me down. I'm just a gardener, and I'm the biggest nobody around here. But, man, you got everything.
I have?
Yeah, and for one thing, you're a real sharp dresser, and you know clothes. Why, when you put a suit on, it looks like you were the first one that ever wore it.
Thanks.
Well, you shouldn't have to worry about competition. You got brains, and you're smart as a whip.
That's right.
You're handsome, a good conversationalist, and you got a nice build on you, and you know lots of important people, and you're right in the middle of the social world.
Yeah.
Now, what's your problem with Susie?
I'm too good for her.
What?
I mean, I wish I were all those things, but I'm not. I've come to the reluctant conclusion that happiness is just a thing called money. If I could pick up a little extra change, I'd be setting pretty.
Well, don't you make enough now?
It wouldn't be ethical for me to tell you what the boss pays me. But if I quit, my unemployment compensation would be a luxury.
Well, if you're looking for a part-time job, my cousin was telling me that there's always an opening for a collector at the Friendly Finance Company.
Collector for the finance company, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good. I think I'll go over and see if they can use me.
I sure wish you luck, Rochester. But do you know anything about finance companies?
Do I? When I was a kid, my mother bought a piano that was financed, and whenever we missed a payment, they took it back.
Did you miss many payments?
I did more practicing in the moving van than at home.
Friendly Finance Company. One moment, please. It's for you, Mr. Finch. It's Mr. Emerson.
Thank you, Miss Kendall. Hello? Emerson? I sent you out to make a $3 collection, and I don't hear from you for 4 days. Where have you been? General Hospital? He threw you down 3 flights of stairs. Broke your jaw, smashed your nose, and cracked your ribs. Oh, that's horrible. You tell me, boy, did you get the $3? Well, just relax and get well. Remember, the Friendly Finance Company stands behind its employees. And don't worry about Dr. Bills. We'll give you a loan.
What happened to Emerson, Mr. Finch?
Now, one of our accounts beat him up, and he's in the hospital just when I need him the most. That's gratitude for you.
That's terrible.
Yeah, everything happens to me.
Mr. Finch, there's a man in the outer office who'd like to get on as a temporary collector.
A temporary collector? Miss Kendall, in this firm, that's the only kind of collector we have. You show him in.
Yes, Mr. Finch. And Mr. Finch will see you now, Mr. Van Jones.
Thank you.
Come right in, come right in. Sit down and make yourself comfortable, Mr. Van Jones.
Thank you. Nice little office you have here.
Yes, we like it. Miss Kendall tells me you'd like to pick up a little extra cash working for us in your spare time.
Yes, sir.
Well, it just happens we need a part-time collector.
Good. I need to make a little extra cash to keep in good standing with my girl.
I understand. Now, I'll explain a few things while you fill out the application card. Your full name, address, and so on.
Yes, sir.
As you probably know, we loan money on cars and household items, and when the payments aren't met, the collector either gets the money or the item we loaned it on. Now, you get a commission on each account you collect.
Say, I've filled out everything else, but what's this for?
Where?
Right here, where it says next to kin.
Just a technicality. Put down your closest living relative. And also put your signature on this.
Oh, what is it?
A life insurance policy I take out on all our collectors. Every once in a while, I strike it rich. Sign right here.
Rochester Van Jones.
Now, here's another one.
Let's see. I, the undersigned, do hereby release the Friendly Finance Company from any responsibility of any kind.
There's no need to read that. I trust you.
Even the small print has small print. Well, I might as well sign it. Here you are.
Thank you. You're now officially a collector for the Friendly Finance Company. Let me congratulate you on winning this position and allow me to offer you every good wish for your future success.
Thank you. Now, if there are any collections you want me to make...
Collector, I gotta see him right away.
Wait to tango in there.
Who's the collector of this finance company?
You're looking at him right now. What can I do for you?
Just hold that pose. That'll teach you to take my mother's lawnmower away.
Are you all right? Shall I get you some water?
Where am I?
You're at the Friendly Finance Company, located at 5th and Vine in the heart of the low-rent district.
I'm lying on the floor and he's advertising.
Here, I'll help you up. Miss Kendall, give me a hand.
Of course.
Oh, I can't feel my nose.
Move your hand to the left a little.
You poor thing. That man had absolutely no right to hit you.
We've got the law on our side, you know.
We have?
He won't get away with it either. We'll sue him for every cent he's got.
Good.
And you can collect it.
Oh, no.
Well, it's a little later, and Rochester is telling his gardener friend Devilgrass Simpson about the Friendly Finance Company.
Say, Rochester, how you making out with your job at the Friendly Finance Company?
Well, I'll tell you one thing, it's interesting work. They told me the first thing I have to do when making a collection is put my foot in the door.
Well, that's good advice.
It didn't work out so good for me. The man I was trying to collect from was sitting in the car, and before I could get my foot back out, he dragged me for 3 blocks.
Listen in tomorrow to The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones, starring Eddie Anderson, brought to you at the same time every night by the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones is written by John L. Green. This production is supervised by Sam Perrin. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. Ladies and gentlemen, the Columbia Broadcasting System invites you to sit back, relax, and listen to Eddie Anderson in The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones. Rochester, you were having a little trouble with your girl. How are you making out now?
Not so good. She's crazy about Franklin Monroe.
Just because he has money?
Yeah, Susie wants someone who can support her for the rest of her life.
Well, can't you do that?
Only if she doesn't live past Friday.
Yes, it's The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones. The amusing adventures of the happy-go-lucky fellow who works for that famous man in Beverly Hills, and brought to you by the Columbia Broadcasting System. Well, Rochester has needed a little extra cash to help him regain the affections of his girl, Susie. So, to get it, he's become a part-time collector for the Friendly Finance Company. This morning, we find him standing on Susie's front porch, knocking on the door for the second time.
Doesn't seem to be anybody home. That's funny. Maybe she's in the garden around the side. I love a gal who grows her own groceries. I'll go over to the side of the porch and take a look. Uh-oh, there's Susie now, and she's talking over the back fence to Lila Edwards.
Right now, if I had to decide between Franklin and Rochester, I don't know which one I'd choose.
Well, when you make up your mind, Susie, throw the other one to me.
Lila, what would you do if you had 2 men that were taking you out and dating you and trying to kiss you all the time, and you had to choose between them?
What would I do? I'd toss a coin and hope it come down sideways.
Serious, Lila.
Well, personally, I like a man who takes me to nice places.
Well, last week Franklin took me to the Palladium. Gee, I never knew they had such a beautiful dance floor.
Wait a minute. You told me the other day that Rochester took you there, too.
I know, but Franklin took me inside.
One shagging would be outside anyway. I'd better pretend I'm just getting here.
I wish I could complain about having so many men.
Hello, Rochester.
Hello, honey. Hello, Lila.
Well, I guess you two want to be alone. Bye.
Goodbye, Lila.
Susie, I came over to ask you for a date for this evening.
Oh, but Rochester, it takes money to go on dates. And I've got a vague idea you're always short of money.
That isn't just a vague idea. That's the complete story. But not for long, honey. Your dreamboat has become a temporary businessman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm a collector for the Friendly Finance Company, and I get a commission on every account I collect.
Oh, that's wonderful.
As a matter of fact, I'm on my way to the office right now.
Oh, you've got an office of your own?
Well, not exactly an office.
Oh, you mean you've got a desk?
Well, I wouldn't say that either.
Well, what do you have then?
A pad, a pencil, and a standing permit to use the payphone at the corner gas station. Anyway, I'll have money to take you out tonight.
Well, I don't know, Rochester. Franklin wants to take me to the opening of the Melody Club.
Well, let me take you, Susie. I'll have the money. I figure a night at the Melody Club, including the cover charge, will come to exactly $10, and I'll get that.
Well, how do you expect to get out without leaving a tip?
Shag, baby, shag. Well, if I'm going to raise that dough, I'd better get over to the office. Good morning, Mr. Finch.
Good morning, Rochester. I see you're here bright and early.
Yeah, I got to make some fast money. So just hand me that list of collections and point me in the right direction. I'm on my way out of the no-income bracket.
Good. Let's look over the list and see what there is for you. Let's see. You might try this one, Martin Smith. Just be polite and tell him who you are. And remember, you have the law on your side.
What did he buy that he hasn't paid for?
A double-barreled shotgun.
Let's look over the list a little further. How about this one?
No, that one's too easy. He wants to give up the item he got financed anyway. It's a television set.
Oh, why is he so anxious to give it back?
Now, when he bought it, he didn't know about Arthur Godfrey. Here we are. Rochester, if you can collect this delinquent account, you'll get $8 commission.
Now you're talking. What's his name?
Jake Zelinkas.
That name sounds familiar.
Well, it should. He's the leading contender for the heavyweight wrestling championship.
Are you sure you don't have any desk work for me to do?
No, our last collector is coming back to do that as soon as he gets out of the hospital. Now, I want you to collect from Jake Zelinkas.
Jake Zelinkas? He's a pretty good wrestler, isn't he?
Oh, yes. He's gone through 10 of our collectors undefeated. But don't you worry about that. Think of the $8.
I wish you'd make it 10.
Why?
I'd like to leave a large estate. Hello, Devilgrass.
Hello, Rochester.
Devilgrass, you're the best friend I've got, so I came over for some advice. But I see you're busy.
Oh, no, I'm through trimming this hedge. Come on in the kitchen. What's your problem, Rochester?
Well, Susie had a date to go to the opening of the Melody Club with Franklin Monroe, but she said she'd break it when I told her I'd have enough money to take her there. But I haven't got the money yet, and if I don't get it, that'll be the end.
Oh, can't raise the money, huh?
Not unless I make a collection.
Well, make the collection. It sounds easy.
From a 240-pound wrestler? I'm talking about Jake Zelinkas. I can get hurt if he just leans on me.
Well, the only way to handle a fella like that is to shame him into it. If he hits you, turn the other cheek.
Devilgrass, after Jake Zelinkas hits you on one cheek, there's nothing left of the other one either.
Excuse me. Hello? Who? Just a minute. Are you here, Rochester?
Who is it?
It's a woman.
They always find me. Yeah, I'm here.
He says he's here. Hold the phone. Here you are.
Hello?
Hello, Rochester. This is Susie. I broke the date with Franklin, and now I can go to the Melody Club with you tonight. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad I'm not going with Franklin this time. Oh, he's handsome and intelligent. A wonderful dancer. But it'll be nice to have a change.
Thanks.
You'll have the money, won't you?
Yeah, I'll have the money.
Rochester, you don't sound very sure. And I want to tell you something. I broke that date with Franklin to go with you. And if you disappoint me this time, we're really through.
Now, honey.
And I mean it.
Don't worry, Susie. I'll have the money.
Well, I'll see you tonight, Rochester. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I just don't know what to do. Somehow this Zelinkus frightens me. I'm really worried.
Oh, Rochester, you forget that you've got broad shoulders, strong arms, and you've got coordination that's just built for striking power. Why, you don't realize what you can do. You've got hidden resources.
That's right.
Why, when you arouse, you've got the strength of 7 men, the courage of a lion, the snarling ferocity of a wounded tiger.
Yeah.
Now, why are you worried about Zelinkus?
I'm afraid I'll kill him.
Oh, nurse. Hey, nurse.
Here I am, Mr. Zelinkus. I was in the kitchen.
Could you move this pillow a little? I'm in terrible pain.
Oh, of course. I'll fluff it up for you.
Thanks.
There, now. That ought to be better.
Thanks, nurse. Thanks.
Oh, you know, I didn't realize a man could get so badly hurt in a wrestling match. Well, you got both your arms broken, a fractured leg, and 3 cracked ribs.
Yeah.
Is wrestling always that dangerous?
No, it never would have happened if I hadn't missed a rehearsal. But will you get the door, nurse?
Yes?
Is Mr. Zelinkus in?
Yes, he is.
That's too bad.
Well, you've come at a rather an awkward time. I just hope you won't upset him.
I endorse that feeling 100%, and I hope it's vice versa with him.
You see, he wrestled a man last night and broke his arms, fractured his leg, and cracked some of his ribs.
I can take the census any time. Goodbye.
Well, maybe by the time you come back, Mrs. Zelinkus will have recovered.
Yes, I hope so, too, and... Wait a minute. You mean Mr. Zelinkus is the one that got busted up last night?
Yes, it was awful.
Well, where is he now?
He's in bed.
Can he move at all?
Oh, no, he's absolutely helpless.
What's the matter with you? Stand aside, lady. Rochester Van Jones is about to make a collection.
Rochester, do you mean you actually collected the $100 from Zelinkus?
Sure, all in a day's work. It was nothing.
Well, this is amazing. Was he mad when you asked him for the money?
Yeah, he felt terrible. He was all broken up.
I can't believe it.
It's true. When I left, he had a broken arm, a fractured leg, and a couple of cracked ribs.
Little but mighty, eh?
Now, about my $10 commission.
Hey, it's worth it. Here you are.
Thanks. I better run along now, Mr. Finch. My girl is waiting for me to crush her in my arms.
Oh, by the way, there's one more collection I'd like to have you make. This one here from Mrs. Jackson. It's right on your way. You'll be able to pick up a couple of more bucks.
Good. Then I'll be able to take Susie in a taxi. Yes, sir, this is my lucky day. I just have to make this last collection, and I'm off to Susie. How do you do? I'd like to see Mrs. Jackson.
I'm Miss Jackson. Won't you come in?
Yes, thank you.
My, it's so nice to see a friendly face. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I'm always so happy when I have a visitor, especially when it's a fine young man like you. I'll fix some tea for you. I haven't got any cookies, but I'll put a piece of toast on the stove. How'll that be?
Oh, just fine. I'd better get this over before I lose my nerve. Mrs. Jackson, I'm from the Friendly Finance Company.
Please don't call me Miss Jackson. Just call me Mother.
Do you know you're 3 months overdue on your payments? Mother? 3 months overdue.
Yes, I'm afraid I do, son. But I haven't got a penny in the house.
If you can't make the payments, I'll have to take your stove back. Mother? Really, I will.
First, have your tea. I hope you don't want it too strong. After I use the tea bag a few times, it loses a little flavor.
I know I'm going to hate myself for this, but I have to do my duty.
Here's your tea, son.
Thank you.
And here's your toast.
Thanks. Mrs. Jackson, that stove is awfully important to you, isn't it? You have to cook on it.
Well, most of the time I just use it to keep the room warm. But I haven't any money, so I guess you'll just have to...
No, I don't, Mrs. Jackson. I've made up my mind. I'm not going to take that stove away from you.
But if you don't, you'll lose your job. You better take it right now.
No, I can't.
But you got to. Yeah. I'll help you carry.
Wait a minute. Just a minute now. I happen to have $10 in my pocket, and that'll pay you up to date.
Oh, son, I can't let you do that. You probably need the money.
Oh, me? I'm loaded. Here's your receipt.
Thank you, son.
That's all right. Goodbye. Mother? Well, it looks like I'm not going out with Susie tonight. The only thing I don't understand is how can a guy feel so miserable and so wonderful at the same time?
Well, things didn't turn out too bad for Rochester and Susie. In fact, right now, they're at the Melody Club.
This sure is a nice place, and the food is good, too. Are you enjoying yourself, Susie?
Oh, I sure am. And I think it was very broad-minded of you, too, to invite Franklin to come along with us.
Broad-minded nothing. Somebody's got to pay the check.
I wonder if Rochester was so smart after all. Sure, Franklin paid the check, but that only made him a bigger man in Susie's eyes. What's Rochester going to do now? Listen in tomorrow to The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones, starring Eddie Anderson. Brought to you at the same time every night by the Columbia Broadcasting System. The Private Life of Rochester Van Jones is written by John L. Green. This production is supervised by Sam Perrin. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Day.
Every song that I sing, I'll sing to you, and I hope I can bring you a smile or two.
Dennis Day is brought to you by Palmolive Soap and Palmolive Shave Creams. Palmolive Soap, your beauty hope, and Palmolive Shave Creams for a smoother, more comfortable way to shave. The Dennis Day Show with Barbara Eiler, B. Benaderet, Dink Trout, Charles Dant in the orchestra, and yours truly, Vern Smith, is written by Frank Galen and stars our popular young singer in A Day in the Life of Dennis Day. Here's Dennis to sing the new hit tune, Look Up.
Look up, look up, when everything's looking down. Whenever you're low, let everything go. Come out of that gloomy frown. Look up, whenever those clouds are gray. It's gonna be fun whenever that sun starts chasing those clouds away. There's no room for old man gloom, so shake him. You're bound to take him. Just try a smile or two, but whatever you do, look up, Don't ever give up the fight. When everything's wrong, it's never too long till everything turns out right. So whatever you do, look up. Look up. Look up. Don't ever give up the fight. When everything's wrong, it's never too long till everything turns out right. So whatever you do, look
Three men out of every four get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream way.
Yes, 3 men out of every 4 get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream way.
This is not just a promise, not just a claim. 1,297 men tried the new, different Palmolive Brushless way to shave. And no matter how they shaved before, 79% found beards easier to cut. 75% got less razor pull. 69% closer shaves. 82% smoother feeling skin.
And 3 men out of every 4 got more comfortable, actually smoother shaves.
But you be the judge. Try the new Palmolive Brushless way to shave. Just do this. Wash your face with soap and water. Rinse. Soap your face thoroughly again and apply Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream, smoothing it upward into your beard to get the full benefit of Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream's beard conditioning effect. Then shave.
That's all. But remember, Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream offers you proof that 3 men out of every 4 get more comfortable, actually smoother shaves the Palmolive Brushless Shave Cream way.
Well, today is Lincoln's birthday, and the day after tomorrow is St. Valentine's Day. Ironic, isn't it? Only 2 days after the birthday of the man who freed so many men from slavery comes the day that has led to the enslavement of so many men. But to the young in heart, the romantic little billy-doos of St. Valentine's Day with their tender declarations of love remain a glorious tradition. And since they cost money, we find our young hero, Dennis Day, in the front room of the Anderson house, busily making his own as his girlfriend Mildred enters.
Oh, hi, Dennis. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness, a Valentine.
Oh, gee, you weren't supposed to see it till you got it in the mail.
Oh, but it's beautiful, Dennis, and so fancy. Where'd you get all that gorgeous lace?
Well, it isn't exactly lace, Mildred. Your father gave me a pair of his old shorts.
Oh, I see. Well, it's really very pretty.
Oh, sure, and a little bit different, too. After all, how many girls get a Valentine with elastic tops?
That's true. Are you sending Valentines to any other girls? Like Miss Baker, for instance?
Oh, gosh, no. That old spinster?
Well, she has quite a crush on you, you know. She even named her Cocker Spaniel after you.
I know, and is it embarrassing? I've even stopped going into Olson's grocery store on account of the way Mr. Olson stares at me.
Oh, why should he stare at you?
Well, 3 times a week, Miss Baker calls him and tells him to send over a can of Strongheart for Dennis Day.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, but Mildred, I wouldn't send anyone else a Valentine anyway, because you're my one and only.
Oh, Dennis, am I really?
You know you are. Didn't I give you the secret handshake of the Captain Midnight Mass Marvel Club?
Yes. But, gee, this Valentine's Day makes 4 years we've been going steady. Don't you think it's time we talked about getting married?
Married? But, Mildred, I haven't got a cent.
Oh, does that really matter so much? All 2 people ever need is their love for each other.
No, Mildred, I made up my mind I wouldn't get married until I could give my wife expensive dresses, silk lingerie, and a mink coat. All the things I never had.
But, Dennis, all I want is you.
Oh, you must have more ambition than that.
All right, I'll ask you. Will you marry me?
Well, yes. Are you really proposing to me?
Well, of course.
Well, shouldn't you be on your knees?
Never mind. Will you marry me? Answer me.
Well, yes.
Good.
Now, how about a cooling off period of, say, about 5 years?
Oh, no. We're going to set the date as soon as we talk to my mother.
Your mother? Does she have to know?
Oh, naturally.
But couldn't we wait and tell her a little later, say after we had a child or two?
Dennis, don't be silly. You've got to ask her for my hand.
I know, but I got a feeling I'm going to get hers.
Nonsense. Now, come on. And don't forget, you're supposed to do the talking.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, hi, Mother.
Oh, hello, Mildred. Dennis.
Go ahead, Dennis.
Yeah. I wanted to talk to you about a little problem, Mrs. Anderson. Do you think that when two people are in love, they should get married?
Why, I haven't any idea. It all depends on who the two people are.
Well, say they're a boy and a girl.
Yes, they make the best married couples, all right. But what's your point, if any?
Well, it's this, Mother. Dennis and I love each other, we respect each other, and we want to get married.
Also to each other.
You mean you and this Dennis Day here? Mildred, you don't know what you're saying.
Oh, yes, I do, Mother. I think Dennis is the sweetest boy in the whole world.
That goes for me, too.
Maybe you are, but can you support a wife? Believe me, children, when bills come in the door, love flies out the window.
Oh, not in our case. We won't be able to afford a place with windows for years.
Dennis, listen to me. It's not that I'm mean or hard-hearted, but I love my daughter and I want to see her happy. And I know she couldn't be married to a man who couldn't provide for her properly.
Oh, but we could manage, Mother. After we get married, I could find a job.
Gee, and leave me home all alone?
You hear, Mildred? This is the father you'd like to force on my grandchildren?
But, Mother...
Not another word, Mildred. When this boy is earning enough to support a wife, come to me again. And I promise you, I'll put the bridal veil on your old gray head myself. But until then, the answer is no, and that's final.
Oh, golly, Dennis, isn't that awful?
Yeah, well, back to our old arrangement of holding hands illegally, I guess.
Oh, it's just heartbreaking. Now it might be years before we...
Oh, hello, Mr. Anderson.
Good morning, children. My gracious, what are you two so downhearted for?
Oh, we're so miserable, Daddy. Mother just refused Dennis permission to marry me.
Oh, so that's it. Well, don't you let it worry.
I don't mean that, silly. I mean rush off to a justice of the peace.
And I know just the fella, about 5 miles out of town. All you need is $2 and your birth certificate.
Oh, mine's right upstairs.
And I guess I could get mine easily enough down at the Hall of Records.
Oh, golly, Dennis, get down there as fast as you can. And when you come back, I'll have my things packed, and we're off to that justice of the peace.
Okay, but before we take this step, Mildred, a step that will change our whole lives, I think there's something you should know.
Why, Dennis, what?
It's okay, son. I'll lend you the $2.
That's it.
All right, next, please.
Pardon me, sir. Is this the place where you get birth certificates?
Say, buddy, read that sign at my elbow there. What's it say?
It says, birth certificates obtained here.
Good boy. Now just tell me which words are bothering you. I'll be glad to explain them.
No, I guess this is the place. I'd like a copy of a birth certificate. The name is Dennis Day.
Day, just a second. Let's see. Here's Daly, Dalton. Here we are, Dennis Day. Yeah. Born September 12th, 1926, right? Died February 2nd, 1949.
Pardon me? What was that last item?
Died February 2nd, 1949. Isn't that right?
Oh, I doubt it. Offhand, I don't remember what I did that day, but I'm sure it wasn't anything like that.
How's that again?
You see, I'm Dennis Day.
Yeah? Well, don't tell me about it. Go see a representative of Forest Lawn.
But I'm alive. Honest, I am. Here, watch. I'll breathe for you.
Now, look, mister, I don't know what you're talking about, but I got a death certificate for Dennis Day, and death certificates never lie.
But I tell you, I'm Dennis Day.
Born September 12th, 1926?
Yeah.
Father's name Patrick, mother's Molly?
Yeah, that's right.
Lie down, bud.
But I'm alive, I tell you.
You're going to argue with the city records? You are dead.
But look at me. Do I look like I'm dead?
Well, they made some great strides in embalming the past few years.
Oh, please, be reasonable, mister.
Now, look, all I know is what it says in the records. If you are Dennis Day, you're dead.
But, mister...
Hey, will you stop? You were hit by a beer truck on the corner of 3rd and Elm on February 2nd and killed. Now, beat it. Have enough trouble with live people without bothering with your type.
Oh, my gosh, what Mrs. Anderson always said about me from the neck up has come true all over.
Did you pick up your birth certificate?
Mildred, I'm afraid we'll have to call off our marriage.
Oh, Dennis, why?
Well, in the first place, according to the records, you might find me a little cold.
What?
And in the second place, how would it look going on a honeymoon with my own widow?
What on earth are you talking about?
Our marriage, it just won't work, that's all. Imagine hearing the Justice of Peace saying, I now pronounce you stiff and wife. Oh, sure. Wonderful, considering the condition I'm in.
What condition are you in?
I'm dead.
You're what?
It's true, Mildred. My corpus has delictide.
Dennis, dead.
I was so young, Mildred. Why did I have to go? Why?
Dennis, will you please calm down and explain what this is all about?
According to the City Hall records, I died a couple of weeks ago. I was hit by a beer truck at the corner of 3rd and Elm.
But that's ridiculous. You're not dead.
You don't think so?
Well, you hear me talking to you, don't you? And feel me touching you?
Yeah. Gee, you must be dead, too.
Neither of us are. They've made some sort of mistake in the records, and we're going down there and get it straightened out. If we have to see the mayor himself.
We are?
Of course we are.
Okay, but I was just thinking, this is quite a choice to have to make.
Choice?
Well, sure. Change the records and marry you, or leave them as they are and never have to pay any income tax. All right, I'm going. Don't push, don't push.
Thank you very much for seeing us, Mr. Mayor.
Well, I'm a very busy man, but my secretary said it was emergency. Now, just what seems to be the trouble?
Well, Your Honor, I'm alive and healthy, and everybody's trying to tell me I'm dead.
My. Same thing that Harry Truman has just been through, huh?
Oh, no, sir. We mean really dead.
You mean actually deceased?
Sure. I died February 2nd.
You did?
Yes, sir.
You realize you're violating a city ordinance? Should have been buried a week ago.
Oh, no. Actually, I'm alive. But your records show I was standing on the corner of 3rd and Elm when all of a sudden a truck full of beer hit me.
Are you sure it didn't and you had your mouth open?
Oh, no, sir.
Well, it's just according to your records that he's dead, Mr. Mayor, and something's got to be done about it.
Well, sure, Your Honor. Gosh, if I claim to be dead now when I really do die, who'll believe me?
Right, George, you've got something there, my boy. I can't wait till you get it out of here.
It's nothing to joke about, Mr. Mayor.
No, here I am actually alive and legally dead. There must be some way out of this mess.
Well, I can think of one. I'll pay for the gun if you like.
Oh, no, that's too drastic.
Very well, I'll look into the case immediately. You said your name was Day, I believe?
Yes, sir, Dennis Day.
Oh, yes, the name comes back to me now. Your death certificate was filed on February 2nd, the day before our last city election. Believe me, your vote came in mighty handy.
Huh?
Oh, nothing, just reminiscing. Suppose you have a seat in the anteroom, my boy. I'll get right to work on your case.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'll run home and wait for you, Dennis.
Okay, Mildred. And if they don't find out I'm alive, well, just remember we all have to go sometime.
My gracious, do you realize it's almost 6, Herbert? Where can Dennis and Mildred be? They're never home this late.
Oh, we'll probably be hearing from them soon, Passion Puss. I'm sure.
Herbert, I can tell from your expression you think you've put something over on me.
Me, Poopsie girl?
Yes, you. The last time you looked like this was when I forced you to take that medicine to build you up. And it turned out to be 60% alcohol.
Well, I guess it can't do any harm to tell you, dear. Dennis and Mildred are probably married by now.
Married? Did you say married?
Mm-hmm. They eloped.
What? Why, they can't do that. I'll stop them. I'll have them jailed.
Careful, lover. You know what happens when you get excited in a new corset. Something's sure to give.
But my own daughter, deliberately disobeying me like that. How could she? Running off.
Hi, Mother, Daddy.
Mildred, where is he? Where is that husband of yours?
Oh, we're not married, Mother. Dennis ran into a snag down at the Hall of Records.
Thank heaven. To think you could plan such a thing, especially when you know it's what I did. And you have an example of what I wound up with right in front of you.
But, Mother,
Not another word out of you. Get up to your room this minute.
Mother,
I said go up to your room and don't you stir from it.
Yes, Mother.
If I had my hands on that Dennis Day now, I'd take him apart. I'd find out what fills all that space between his sinus and his skull. Where did Mildred say he was?
The Hall of Records.
Give me that phone.
Poopsie, now don't say anything rash, will you? No, I couldn't bear seeing you only on visiting days.
Don't be silly. I'm just going to tell him if he ever comes near this house again, I'll... Hello? Hall of Records? I'm trying to locate a boy named Dennis Day. Do you have... He's what? But he can't be. A beer truck? You sure? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Poopsie, what is it?
It's Dennis. He was hit by a beer truck.
Good heavens, you don't mean that he...
Yes, that poor little boy. He probably threw himself underneath it. And it's all my fault. Oh, why didn't that beer truck run over me instead of him?
Yes, you probably wouldn't have even been hurt.
Oh, I can't bear the thought of telling Mildred. And when I think of the things I've said about him, I used to call him dopey. He really wasn't dopey.
No, indeed. He wasn't dopey. He was just... Well, he was... That's
right.
Yeah.
He was only a little... Well, I mean, sort of a trifle... Oh, that poor dopey boy. I'll be right back, Herbert. I need my smelling salts, and then we'll tell Mildred together.
Yes, dear. Meanwhile, I'll call the hospital and see if that's where they brought him.
All right.
Hello, General Hospital? Did they bring in a boy named Dennis Day here? Yeah, he was run over by a beer truck. Well, he was about...
Oh, hi, Mr. Anderson.
Hello, Dennis. Be with you in a minute. He was about 22, dark hair and brown eyes, and his name was Dennis, is that really you in the flesh?
Oh, sure, and bones and everything.
But I thought you were... down at the City Hall they said that...
Oh, that was just a mistake in the records. It's all fixed now. It seems the beer truck ran over Miss Baker's Cocker Spaniel, whose name was also Dennis Day. And they thought it was me, although we didn't look anything alike.
You mean they confused you and a dog?
I don't particularly care for the way you put it, but that's what happened.
Oh, what a relief. And poor Poopsie's conscience has been bothering her so... Wait a minute.
Huh?
Oh, I hate myself when I get fascinating ideas like this. But Poopsie's been pretty mean to you. She should be taught a good lesson.
You mean?
Yes. Now, quick. I think I hear her coming. Hide behind that curtain, and we'll hand her a little surprise.
Yeah.
Well, does the hospital have any news, Herbert?
No, dear. I don't know where they took him. Are you all right now? I mean, is it still bothering you?
No, I took it off.
I don't mean that. I mean your conscience. But you don't think he might come back and haunt you, do you?
Why, don't be fantastic. You know I don't believe in God. What was that?
What was what?
That voice. Herbert.
Huh?
Look. There, in front of the curtain.
Where?
He can't see me, Mrs. Anderson, and he can't hear what I'm saying either. Can you, Mr. Anderson?
No, not a word. Look, say here, what is it? You look as though you're seeing a ghost.
I think I am.
Yes, ma'am. Excuse my civilian clothes. They haven't issued me my sheet yet.
Oh, Dennis, please forgive me. In spite of the way I treated you on Earth, I always loved you. Truly I did.
Now she tells me.
Dennis, are you going to haunt me?
Yes. From the moment you get up in the morning until you go to sleep at night.
Well, but that's terrifying.
I know, but we ghosts can take it.
No, please forgive me. I shouldn't have refused to let you marry Mildred. Oh, if only I had it to do over again. I'd love you for my son-in-law. I'd gladly do anything.
Oh, hello, Dennis.
Hello.
Mildred, you can see him too?
What? Well, why shouldn't I be able to see him? He's standing right there.
Yes, but he's... Wait a minute.
Boy, I'm beginning to wish I was.
Oh, a trick. You are alive. You're no more dead than usual. You...
Oh, wait, Mrs. Anderson. You really love me, remember? You just said yourself you wanted me for your son-in-law.
I was under the influence of spirits. Come here, you. I'll teach you to elope with my daughter and play tricks on me.
See me at the corner of 3rd and Elm. I'm off to look for a beer truck.
Now, here is a very important announcement.
The makers of Palmolive soap are giving away $100,000 in prizes. First prize, $49,000, plus over 4,900 other cash prizes in the big 49 Gold Rush contest.
Hundreds will strike it rich in this exciting Gold Rush contest. One of them may be you. It's easy to enter. Just finish this sentence in 25 additional words or less.
I like Palmolive soap because. That's all. Just 25 words or less to finish the sentence, I like Palmolive soap because. Then mail your entry right away along with a Palmolive soap wrapper.
Try for your share of that $100,000 in prizes right now. Your chance of winning $49,000 is as good as anyone's. Get entry blank with complete rules from your dealer or write your completed sentence on plain paper. Include your name and address and dealer's name and address. Mail with one Palmolive soap wrapper for each entry to Gold Rush Contest, Box 49, New York 8, New York. Better write that down. Gold Rush Contest, Box 49, New York 8, New York. Enter often as you like, including one wrapper with each entry.
Get Palmolive soap right away to help win a lovelier complexion. And try for your share of the $100,000 in cash prizes. With the music of Charles Dant in the orchestra, here's Dennis to sing the lovely ballad, Far Away Places.
Far away places with strange sounding names, far away over the sea. Those far away places with a strange sounding name are calling. I've been reading about in a book that I took from a shelf. I start getting restless whenever I hear a whistle of a train. I pray for the day and look for those
Next week, tune into another Dennis Day Show brought to you by Palmolive Soap, your beauty hope, and Palmolive Shave Creams for a smoother, more comfortable way to shave.
Tonight, show him how much lovelier your hair can look after a Luster Cream shampoo. Only Luster Cream brings you Kay Dumas' magic blend. Glamorizes your hair as you wash it. Yes, tonight, you can be a
Dream girl, beautiful Luster Cream girl. You owe your crowning glory to a Luster Cream shampoo.
If you want to own your own home or business, send your children through college, or have financial security when you retire, keep this in mind. You can make your dreams come true by buying U.S. savings bonds. For when your bonds mature, you'll get $4 for every $3 you invest. So use the payroll savings plan where you work. Or if you're your own boss, use the bond-a-month plan where you bank. You'll find that automatic savings is sure savings. Listen again next week for Colgate's Hour of Fun, Judy Canova, followed by Dennis Day. And for another great comedy program, hear Blondie next Wednesday evening over your favorite NBC station. And for a wonderful story and color photo of your favorite singing star, Dennis Day, get the current issue of Radio Stars and Television Magazine, now on the newsstands. This is Vern Smith speaking. Good night.
This is NBC, the National Broadcasting Company.
The Halls of Ivy, featuring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman.
And now, the Halls of Ivy. Welcome again to Ivy. Ivy College, that is, in the town of Ivy, USA. It might reasonably seem that after many years of experience, the opportunities and importunities of a college president's life would have become so standardized and so repetitious that all problems could be settled by rule of thumb. But the trouble with using a rule of thumb is that it's too frequently one knuckle short of adequacy. As Dr. Hall, Ivy's president, says to his wife, the former Victoria Cromwell of the English Theater,
Vicky, do you know what my father used to say?
But I've heard a great many things your father used to say, darling, although I'm sure you often confuse what he used to say with what you're about to say.
In this instance, there's no confusion. He really said it.
Said what?
He said, the uses of adversity may be sweet, but they are definitely not fattening.
Well, that's very good. Yeah, from what you tell me of your father, Toddy, Confucius was just an Oriental Milton Berle by comparison.
I'd hardly go that far, my darling, although they probably did have one thing in common.
Your father and Milton Berle?
Oh, no. My father and Confucius.
Oh, yeah, well, both philosophers, huh?
Well, yes, but I was referring rather to my father's fondness for the Chinese game of mahjong.
Mahjong? Confucius? Well, isn't that like saying Napoleon played a hot game of gin rummy?
It may be a slight anachronism, but the Chinese have played mahjong for 8 centuries at least.
When they pick up a fad, they hang on to it, don't they?
A very tenacious race, and one which I have long admired. Compare canasta and mahjong. In only 2 or 3 years, we have introduced canasta, changed the rules, added variations, improved it, transformed it into a game called samba, and will probably within a short time discard it. On the other hand, mahjong, played for 1,000 years with few, if any, variations. How did we get here?
Over here in China, you mean? We started with your inscrutable father, whom we left standing on the devious dock, and then, regretfully, leaving the beautiful pagan island of Hula Bula, whose happy natives wave farewell from the palm-lined shore, we once again board our great white ship in the harbor of Fui Fui. And sail away into the coast of
Please, yes, stop the film.
Oh, what's the matter? Did you run out of popcorn?
No, but I wasn't asking for a complete resume of the I remember. Yes, it started with my father's observation on the sweet but non-fattening uses of adversity.
Yeah, well, it's nice to be home again, isn't it? But what's the adversity? Something in the morning mail?
A very shrewd and quite feminine deduction.
Well, what's feminine about it?
The instinctive reaction of a female in the presence of a communication on paper. Bad news, undoubtedly. Hold the telegram up to the light. Shake the envelope. Listen to the package. On the other hand, a woman responds to the ring of a telephone with the happy anticipation of great good fortune.
You answered, yes, probably bad news.
The lengths to which a wife will go to shatter her husband's complacency. Dr. Hall speaking. Who? Oh, yes. I just read your letter. And I'll be glad to talk to you. Oh, yes, please do. Come right over. Goodbye.
Now that, I take it, referred to the adversity in the morning mail.
Yes. Although adversity is probably too strong a word, except that it poses a problem for Prexy. That was Dr. Franklin Jarvis, Ivy class of 23.
Dr. Jarvis? M.D.? Ph.D.? DDT?
That's no fiction. My darling, a DDT is not a degree.
Oh.
In this case, it is DD. A Doctor of Divinity, which makes the phrase, let us pray, quite a different matter. But Dr. Jarvis has a son here at Ivy. Ben Jarvis. You know him?
Not well, but I know who he is. Wherever you see a bunch of students around a piano singing or dancing or just listening, the boy at the piano is probably Ben Jarvis.
Oh, I see. Is he gifted?
Yeah, definitely. Do you remember a clever number in the last Junior Follies? It was a piano number in which the piano went to complete discord at the end. It was called The Wreck of the Old 88.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was very amusing. Yes, although the title had and still has me a bit baffled.
Well, in musical circles, dear, well, at least in non-classical circles, a piano is known as an 88. 88 keys, you know.
The wreck of the... Oh, yes,
You see, the clarinet now is called a licorice stick, and the xylophone a wood pile, the drums are known as the skins, the trombone is a slip horn, and fiddle's a scratch box, the bass is a dog house.
Thank you, darling. I'm happy to be married to such an informed critic.
Yeah, well, nobody deems me a tailor, but I know my way around the pops.
The pops?
Popular music.
I was afraid you were referring to the more elderly musicians. Now then, what were we saying about Mahjong?
Oh, no, darling. We left Mahjong 20 minutes ago. We were up to the Reverend Franklin Jarvis.
Oh, yes, the Reverend Jarvis is perturbed. He's on his way over for advice and assistance.
Well, one doesn't usually think of a clergyman asking for help and advice from a layman. It's like a dentist asking what to do for a toothache.
On the contrary, I suppose a conscientious churchman cannot dismiss his troubles as easily as one who is not so concerned with the human soul. He most of all knows that one person's small trouble is like a pebble cast into a pond. The spreading ripples can disturb the water to the farthest shore.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's the pebble. I'll swim out and let him in.
Let me see now. Things to remember. Xylophone is a doghouse. Piano is an 88. Clarinet is a...
Hall? Yes, indeed. Dr. Hall is expecting you. Please come in.
Thank you.
William, here's Dr. Jarvis.
How do you do? Good morning, sir. I have been in this house before, I think, for disciplinary reasons, 1921 and 22.
Well, one doesn't think of a divinity student requiring discipline, Dr. Jarvis.
More than anyone. While I'm not an advocate of unsmiling grimness in religion, an undisciplined shepherd is incapable of controlling his flock. Don't you agree, Doctor?
I gather you consider your son Ben one of the undisciplined, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor,
Well, excuse me, I don't like to interrupt, but is there some way you can avoid the yes, doctor, no, doctor exchange? I feel like I was in the middle of a consultation about my appendix.
Well, it's a little confusing, isn't it?
Yes.
However, I am frequently and quite properly addressed as Mr.
Well, frankly, I'm less concerned with titles than with my errand. President Hall...
President, now that solves it.
President Hall, I am concerned about my son, Ben.
Well, I think I know why, but I'd like to hear your views.
Very well. I am a clergyman. My father, Franklin Jarvis Sr., was a clergyman. His father, John Ward Jarvis, was a famous churchman.
Of course, yes. John Jarvis, known affectionately to his congregation as Jack in the pulpit. Yes, my own father knew him very well. And admired him.
Thank you. Anyway, with an unbroken line of ministers in the Jarvis family, I naturally wanted Ben to keep up the tradition. Took it for granted, I'm afraid. Now I find he's majoring in music, but I want your help in getting him back on the right track.
You know, he's a very talented musician. Isn't it possible he is on the right track?
Dr. Jarvis, one of my duties as president of this college is to act, as far as I am equipped and capable, as a vocational counselor. To see that talents are channeled, natural tendencies properly guided, and mere avocation subordinated to a principal objective.
Yes, but in Ben's case, the ministry is the principal objective, although he doesn't seem to realize it.
Well, it's a fine calling, Dr. Jarvis. But is it a call if you don't hear it?
I'm afraid Ben hasn't listened. He couldn't be a fourth-generation Jarvis without feeling some urge toward the church. I don't want to force the boy into a field for which he feels no interest or for which he has no gift. But I do feel that this musical excursion of his is merely a tangent, a temporary fascination, and that his inherited vocation is preaching the gospel.
Now, believe me, Dr. Jarvis, I can readily see your point, and I sympathize with it. I should like to talk to your son. We're with you present.
Any time you say, sir.
If, as you believe, his instinct, unrecognized, is for the ministry, I shall be only too glad to help put him right. However, if I feel music is his real goal, I should have to encourage it in every way possible.
Yeah, I think William the Dr. Jarvis feels Ben doesn't really know himself yet, and a little push in the right direction might do the trick.
Exactly, Mrs. Hall. It isn't that I want to exert any unfair pressure on the boy, but in later years I wouldn't want to know that the church had lost a great clergyman for want of help and encouragement.
It's quite understandable. And I almost hope that he will see things your way, Dr. Jarvis. These are days of confusion, uncertainty, and cynicism. I think the world would welcome a new voice which could inspire a renaissance of hope and faith.
I have prayed for Ben to be that voice.
Of course you have, Dr. Jarvis. But if the prayer is not answered your way, it may very well mean that the answer is wiser than the request.
Yes, I know.
Not being omnipotent ourselves, we must adjust to the power that is. My friend Dr. George Headley, chaplain of Mills College in California, wrote a prayer which expresses it very well. It goes, "My Father God, who walkest here with me, I know thy steps are shortened for my sake. This is my prayer, that I may learn to take a longer stride to keep in pace with thee." Vicky, dear, will you see if you can get Ben Jarvis on the phone?
We find Dr. and Mrs. Hall awaiting the arrival of the Reverend Franklin Jarvis and his son Ben, who seems to prefer the study of music to the study of religion. Mrs. Hall says,
You know, Toddy, I do hope Ben Jarvis goes on with music.
Yes, darling, I know what you mean. A composer who can lift the spirits of 1 million people with a song is to me a definite force for good, and as much on the side of the angels as any theologian.
Yeah, like the old poem by Guy Carroll, do you remember?
No, why?
You call it a waste of time, this taste for popular music, and yet goodbye to care when you whistle the air of a song you can't forget.
Yes, that I think is what I was trying to say.
Incidentally, I like Reverend Jarvis. He's nice.
Oh, yes, I agree with you. He's that happy medium between the humorless bigot and the hail fellow type who thinks he must knock his parishioners into their pews with a slap on the back.
Do you remember that sweet little vicar we met when we were on that bicycle trip in England?
Oh, yes.
Now, where was it? Glastonbury?
Yes, I believe it was. Glastonbury. The Glastonbury Inn, where we stopped to get some of the local cheddar.
I always loved the Somerset country. Do you remember when we rode up to the inn and got off our bicycles? And then you said...
Victoria. Oh, Victoria.
Yes, William?
Let's pull up a few minutes, shall we? I want some cheddar.
Some what?
Cheddar. Cheese. Didn't you say they make it near here?
No, but that's what I get for letting you read the guidebooks before I take you somewhere. You always know more about the places than I do. But do let's stop. It's heavenly here.
Well, wait till I take these clips off my trouser cuffs. They make me look like a paratrooper.
Oh, you look lovely as a paratrooper. With your yellow jersey and your brown face and A little tuft of hair sticking up at the back. I like being with you, William.
When you look at me like that, I'm still floating in air. I wonder if love has the power to suspend the law of gravity.
Oh, I'm sure it does. It's working on me, too. I haven't come down to earth for ages. I must be a girl paratrooper.
Welcome to the regiment, my sweets. I shall award you herewith the Order of the Beating Heart for beauty beyond all reasonable requirements.
Pin it on and kiss me. Oh, darling.
Oh, Victoria, you're lovely. And oh, what lovely country this is.
Well, of course. We're in the true Vale of Avalon.
It breathes history.
Camelot was right over there. And when King Arthur came riding down that... Oh! I'm so sorry. Well, it serves me right for pointing.
Madam, the regret is mine for having met the great Victoria Cromwell so late in life and after entering the clergy.
Well, thank you. And I really didn't mean to stab the local clergy in the eye.
Miss Cromwell, things are not so lost to control in my vicarage that one eye would not be sufficient. Pardon me, sir, for the intrusion. I am George Wilson.
Oh, no intrusion at all, Vicar. My name is William Hall, and I'm engaged to marry Miss Cromwell. An announcement which I'm prepared to make on any and all occasions.
I gathered as much. England's loss will be America's gain. Or am I jumping to conclusions?
Oh, no. It was a very accurate guess.
Well, how did you know, Mr. Wilson?
Oh, in several ways.
Really?
Mr. Hall's obvious discomfort in riding his bicycle on the left side of the road.
Oh?
It's quite American clothing, and the fact that no true Englishman would have the temerity to take any action, matrimonial or otherwise, which would remove Miss Victoria Cromwell from British soil.
It makes me sound like a monument.
Vicar, I can understand your grief at Miss Cromwell's imminent departure, but at the same time, I am proud to add to my own country's art treasures.
Oh, go on. I'm loving every minute of it.
We were just admiring your countryside, Vicar.
The professor says it breathes history.
Yes, it's true. Under one of those mounds, we call them the Mount of St. Michael, is supposed to lie buried the Holy Grail, brought to this place by Joseph of Arimathea. This is consecrated ground. It has both a secular and a religious history.
Yes, one can feel it. The guidebooks also speak of the Holy Thorn.
Yes, at Christmastide, the Holy Thorn planted from the staff of Joseph bursts into bloom on these hillsides. At that time, it becomes a Mecca for the devout. And when the bells start ringing, which seem to echo from the cathedral city of Wells, a short distance over the hills...
Well, I can hear them now, the chimes from the cathedral.
Oh, dear, that's the doorbell.
The doorbell of the inn, but I didn't see anyone.
The doorbell.
Oh, yes, the doorbell. Yes, of course.
Oh, my goodness, where were you?
I was at Glastonbury, my dear, with you. And the little vicar. You know, we never did get that cheddar.
Well, we'll go back sometime, darling. They'll save some for us.
Oh, I'm being very rude, keeping our own visiting vicar standing at the door. Excuse me. Dr. Jarvis, come in, please.
Thank you.
And this is Ben?
Yes, sir. We were afraid for a moment we'd misjudged the time, Dr. Hall.
Oh, no. And I apologize for not answering the bell sooner. We were reminiscing about another churchman and... Victoria. May I present Ben Jarvis?
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Mrs. Hall. Mrs. Hall. I'm glad to meet you, Mrs. Hall, finally. You know, if I may say so without sounding fresh, Well, no, I better not.
Oh, no. Go ahead, Ben. I have a feeling it was complimentary.
Well, I was going to say that Mrs. Hall is a kind of pin-up girl to a lot of the students.
Ben, please, I don't think Mrs.
No,
Hall would...
no, quite the contrary, Dr. Jarvis. Mrs. Hall would indeed. Now, thank you, Ben. It was very nice.
Well, she's done so much for the music and drama classes that... Oh, you know.
I know quite well, Ben, and I'm as pleased as she is. I understand you have a great gift for music.
Oh, I don't know about being gifted, Dr. Hall, but I love it. And I've had 3 songs published. Next year, I expect to make enough on my music to pay expenses the rest of the way through college.
I find that I've come on a fairly fruitless errand, Dr. Hall. I talked to Ben on the way over here.
Oh, then you've made a definite decision, Ben? Between music and carrying on the family tradition?
Yes, sir, I have. Believe me, I'm sorry to wreck my father's plans, and it was no snap decision either. But I'd feel more at home playing the organ in a church than preaching from the pulpit.
But, Ben, your whole background, your heritage, your family for 3 generations has been identified with the church.
Yes, sir, I realize that. I guess I'm a biological sport.
If I may say so, Dr. Jarvis, I don't think the Jarvises have lost a family gift. I think maybe they've gained one.
I'm not closing my mind to that thought, Mrs. Hall. But I do think that in these troubled times, there is a higher calling than turning out popular tunes, profitable as it seems to be.
Oh, I doubt if history has written many pages which were not called troubled. And as long as your son has made a firm and definite decision, I cannot but applaud his courage. I'm sure it wasn't an easy choice.
Dr. Hall is right, Dad. It was a real struggle. It isn't the money or the success or seeing my name on a lead sheet. It's just that, well, anything I have to say, I can say better with music.
Well, if it's good music, Ben, it says something, you can reach a lot of people with it.
I think so, too, Mrs. Hall. I really think I can do some good with music.
Oh, I'm sure you can. A light air can sometimes lift a heavy heart, which is an organ everyone possesses and for which all great music is composed.
I'm afraid I'm outvoted, President Hall. All I can say to Ben now is good luck. And don't forget your grace notes.
Thanks, Dad. Mrs. Hall, may I use your piano?
Well, of course you may.
Why, Ben? Just to show you that I'm not completely frivolous about this. I'd like to play a song I wrote while I was wrestling with my conscience.
Well, we'd all like to hear the song, Ben. What's it called?
It's called I Just Telephone Upstairs. Here it is.
I just telephone upstairs when I'm troubled. Never need to drop a nickel in it all. And the boss is there waiting. I'm not exaggerating. He's sitting there waiting for my call. I just telephone upstairs when I'm troubled. And it gets a little rugged here below. While the boss's phone is ringing, my weary heart starts singing, and suddenly I hear him say, hello. It's a long way to heaven, but I'm sure to get there by and by. For if I can see the road ahead of me, I dial the operator in the sky. I just telephone upstairs when I'm troubled. Never waste my time worrying at all. When I don't know where I'm going, he's got his way of knowing. He's sitting there waiting for my call. He's sitting there waiting for my call.
Ben, shake hands with a man who knows a better sermon than he can preach himself. I've never been so glad to be wrong.
Maybe you weren't wrong. Maybe I can still preach my own way. Unless my castles in the air are just shacks.
Castles in the air are all right, Ben, if you put foundations under them.
That's good advice, son.
I'll take it. At this same time at the Halls of Ivy, starring Mr. and Mrs. Ronald Coleman. Others in our cast were Ted Osborne, Bry Billsbury, Eric Snowden, and Thurl Ravenscroft. Tonight's script was written by Don Quinn and Audrey Call. Miss Call is the first violinist in our Henry Russell Orchestra and the composer of I Just Telephone Upstairs, presented tonight for the first time.
Footsteps of us all will echo down the hall and disappear. But as we sadly start our journeys far apart, a part of every heart will linger here in the sacred halls of where we've lived and learned to know that through the years we'll see you in the sweet afterglow. We'll remember halls of ivy in the
present the Fred Allen Show with Fred's guests Oscar Hammerstein and Richard Rogers, Portland Hopper, Minerva Pius, Peter Donald, Parker Fenley, the DeMarcos, Al Goodman and his orchestra, and oh yes, Kenny Delmar.
Last Friday, ladies and gentlemen, was the first day of spring. In the spring, a young man's fancy. Tonight, we bring you a man who isn't.
Don't drag it out. Don't drag it out. Drag me out. That's it.
Here he is, Fred Allen.
Thank you, and good evening. We could have put 2 commercials in that announcement and had a 15-minute program. Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Portland, as the farmer said to Sears and Roebuck when they delivered his Murphy bed, I'm glad you didn't forget the spring.
Oh, spring is wonderful in New York.
Yeah?
The birds, the trees, the green things.
Green things? Name me one green thing you've seen in New York City.
The St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Well, you trapped me there, thanks to your writer, didn't you? St. Patrick's Day Parade, that was greener than a grasshopper's shin. It was so... I felt sure there was going to be some reaction after that. Came mostly from me, fortunately. Hey, it was some parade.
Well, I couldn't get across Fifth Avenue for 6 hours.
Well, you should have done what I did.
Well, how did you get across Fifth Avenue?
Well, don't let this out. I joined the ancient order of Hibernians. I marched 4 blocks in the parade at an angle and stepped out on the other side of the street. Worked every year. The joke is getting a little old.
Mama can't understand it.
The parade?
Mama says, why is it every March 17th they let 50,000 Irishmen hold up traffic and parade down Fifth Avenue?
Do you know anyone who can stop 50,000 Irishmen?
50,000 other Irishmen.
How right you are. But tell me, Portland, what is new this week?
The flower show just finished.
Oh, did you go this year?
Yes. Mama won first prize prize with their milkweed.
A milkweed won first prize?
It was homogenized.
Oh. Did you see the Tom Brenneman orchid there?
Tom Brenneman orchid?
Yes, I think Mr. Brenneman sent his orchid in a hurry. There was an old lady still pinned to it. Just wanted to make sure there were people in here.
Mama Cymbidium received an honorable mention.
Cymbidium?
You didn't think I could pronounce it, did you?
Well, I didn't.
You're always sneaking words into the script trying to stick me.
Well, now, look. I don't know anything. I would have put a rose in there. Would have had a thorn, and the thorn could have stuck. Look, I don't know anything about flowers, Portland. I wouldn't know a hollyhock if I met one coming out of a pawn shop.
A dog would see a mile away.
Oh, how can you tell a dog would?
By its bark. Oh, a comedy tonight.
Well, I guess things are bad all over. George is down to one governor again. And I'm off for Allen's Alley.
What is your question tonight?
Well, recently, Dr. George Gallup held a poll to check on the public's reaction to modern invention. Now, the question Dr. Gallup asked was, is there any invention which you wish had never been invented? And that is going to be our question tonight.
Shall we go?
As the razor said to the midget, let me show you a shortcut. It's sure good to get back to Allen's Alley, Portland. Say, I guess the Senator's expecting company. I see there's an alligator barbecuing in the backyard there. Well, let's not.
Somebody did you know what to my watch this?
Yes,
Claghorn's the name, Senator Claghorn, that is.
Well, Senator.
What's on your mind, son? Let's have it. I got a haul pelt. I'll have to cut and run any minute. I gotta take my singing lesson. Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me.
Wait a minute. Singing lessons, you say?
I'm singing with Margaret Toon on the radio.
Really?
Little old Harry asked me. He'd like to hear Margaret as a duet.
A duet? Well, Senator, I didn't know that you sang.
Well, son, down Tallahassee way, I'm known as a one-man choir. The Swamp Soprano. I had to stop singing at revival meetings. My top notes kept tearing holes in the tent.
Really? Moody and Frankie were complaining. Well, tell me, Senator, which invention do you wish had never been invented?
Well, son, there's three inventions the South could do without.
Three inventions?
Well, there's the mule.
Yeah?
Man who invented the mule put thousands of Southern women out of work. Then there's money.
Money?
Money is an evil invention, son. And I'm proud to say we in the South have very little to do with it.
What is the third invention, Senator?
The alarm clock, son. The South vanished that clanging contraption in 1647.
You've had no alarm clock since 1647?
No, son. That's why the South has been asleep for the last 300 years.
In the South, there's good snooze tonight. I wonder if, I'll just skip over them and we'll come to questions later. I wonder if Titus Moody is around.
Howdy, Bob.
Mr. Say, is that a blackboard you have there?
Yeah, I've been down in the pig pen taking inventory.
You count the hogs and mark them down on the blackboard?
Yeah, I've been a hogging and a chucking.
You have a keen wit, Mr. Moody.
You get me started, I'm a barrel of fun.
Mr. Moody, is there any invention you wish had never been invented?
Why, I could do without the radio.
The radio, hey?
Yeah, I don't hold with furniture that talk.
No.
Talking should be left to people.
You had a distressing experience?
Yeah. Fella come through here shouting in sickles by appointment.
I see.
While he was honing my sickle, we fell talking.
Uh-huh.
He says, Moody, he didn't know me well enough to call me Titus. He says, Moody, put a radio in your barn. It'll perk up your fowl and cattle.
And you bought a radio?
Yeah. To my everlasting premeditated consternation.
What happened?
Why, one day all the hens' nests would be empty. Next day every nest would have 2 eggs into it.
You mean?
The hens was listening to Double or Nothing. And again, every Saturday night when that barn dance program come on, the horses and cows would be do-si-doing till all hours.
Well, no wonder you're mad at radio.
Yeah, the final blow come last night.
The final blow?
I come home. My wife's got the hit parade on. She's going out the front door.
Yeah?
She's wearing a rubber coat and galoshes and carrying an umbrella.
A rubber coat, galoshes, and an umbrella? Where was your wife going?
See what they do in Rio on a rainy night.
I just go back to bed now. Let's try this next door. Mrs. Nussbaum, tell me, what about this invention business?
One invention I couldn't stand, but positively it's the telephone.
The telephone? Why?
To me, the telephone is typifying the excruciating.
Excruciating?
This is a word?
Oh, yes. Excruciating is a word.
I thought maybe I am ad-libbing.
Oh, no. No, you're doing fine.
To me, sometimes it seems I'm talking with a dialect.
Oh, no. It's just your imagination. Well, tell me, Mrs. Nussbaum, why do you wish the telephone had never been invented?
Always at the wrong times. It is ringing.
How do you mean?
When my head is in the oven cooking.
Yeah?
When I'm busy making with the vacuum cleaner.
Uh-huh.
When I'm up to my neck in the washing machine.
Yeah?
Always is ringing with the telephone.
I see.
Saturday night is coming the last straw.
Well, what happened?
I am in the bathtub singing for joy.
Yes?
It's ringing as usual, the telephone.
You had to get out of the tub?
Down 2 flights of stairs, I'm going drifting.
Uh-huh.
I'm getting madder by the stairs.
By the stairs.
Off the hook, I'm snatching the receiver.
Yes?
A voice is saying, "You are pens in this bound?"
Uh-huh.
I am pulling out by the roots the telephone and throwing out the window.
I see.
Suddenly, from the yard, the telephone is saying, "This is the pot of gold." Yay!
You lost the money?
I'm going crazy. Ever since I'm talking to myself.
You talk to yourself? What do you say to yourself?
Drop dead.
Well, that brings us to Mr. Cassidy, Jackie. Let's try Mr. Cassidy. Let's try here.
Oh, how do you do?
Well, Mr. Cassidy, how are you tonight?
Oh, terrible.
Really?
I'm a mass of frustration. I just come from Phineas Fogarty, the psychiatrist.
Did Fogarty analyze you?
Well, he said as a boy I fell on an axe.
You fell on an axe.
I grew up with a split personality.
Hey, Jack, you are in bad shape.
I'm not long for this world.
Well, tell me, Mr. Cassidy, which invention could you do without?
Oh, the automobile. Sure, it's destroyed the little niceties of life.
The niceties? How?
Oh, for example, take the patrol wagon. The Tippler's town car.
The patrol, eh?
Years ago, me boy, it was a pleasure to be arrested.
A pleasure?
You stood there quietly, leaning against the officer while he rang for the paddy wagon.
Uh-huh.
It was an open wagon. Your friends could see you were being conveyed to the Hooscow.
Yes?
They could immediately arrange a monster testimonial pig's knuckle dinner, climaxed by an all-day cruise up the river to see you.
And you say the automobile has ruined this?
Oh, today you're locked in a closed van. Nobody knows who's inside. You might as well be a law-abiding citizen.
I see your point.
Well, last Saturday night, while indulging in a bit of liquid abandon,
yes,
me friend Lindsay Monaghan was apprehended.
Uh-huh.
Down the street the truck come flying. The gong was clanging. It was a dark night.
Yes.
When the truck drove away, the officer let out a shriek.
It wasn't the patrol?
Lindsay was locked in a good humor wagon.
Well, packed in dry ice, didn't he freeze to death?
Fortunately, he had enough alcohol in him.
You mean?
Lindsay was stiff, but he wasn't frozen. Good night.
Come on, Accompanied by Maestro Al Goodman and Maestro Al Goodman and his Wee Hawkins Ferry Philharmonic. Say, Portland.
Yes?
You think you can carry on for the rest of the program? I have to go down to night court right away.
Night court?
Yes, you know that summons I received last week? Rogers and Hammerstein are suing me. They claim that show Piccadilly I wrote for B. Lily last Sunday was stolen from their show, Oklahoma.
Are you going on trial?
Trial. Dick Rogers and Oscar Hammerstein are my best friends, Portland. Two of the sweetest guys in the world.
But if they're suing...
Suing, it's a gag. I'll go down to night court. We'll have a good laugh. Portland, I'll see you later. I'll be back.
Piccadilly in the land of silly peasant heart, where a couple of body something smart is nothing.
Gentlemen, can't go in there. The night court's in session.
My name is Oscar Hammerstein. I'm Richard Rogers.
Mr. Hammerstein and Mr. Rogers, well, your case is next on the docket. You can wait here in this anteroom.
Thank you.
I'll call you, gentlemen. Oscar, every time I think of that guy, Allen.
He'd steal the potato out of a baby's borscht.
If a junker's head was turned, Allen would steal a wet donut.
The nerve of that guy taking our show Oklahoma and calling it Piccadilly.
Fortunately, we caught him red-handed.
How did you happen to tune in on Allen's program?
I was trying to get Manhattan merry-go-round. I was a little early. Allen was still on.
By the way, Dick, that Manhattan merry-go-round.
I checked, Oscar. It's nothing like our carousel.
It's nerves, I guess.
I'm on edge myself. Since we trapped Allen, I suspect every song I hear on the radio.
Dick, we can't write all the songs.
With Allen around, we can't even keep the songs we've written.
Dick, are you sure we can't lose this suit?
I'm positive, Oscar. I read about a case in Downbeat. Seems the harp player in the Philharmonic at Carnegie Hall reached out to pluck a pizzicato. His E-string was gone.
Stolen?
Yep. An old lady in the front row had cut out the harp string with a cuticle scissors. She was using the harp string for dental floss.
They caught her?
The old lady got 30 years.
30 years for just stealing a harp string?
String.
Yes, string.
Allen stole our whole show.
We've got him cold, Dick.
Oscar, how much are we suing for?
$10,000?
Let's make it a round number. 100,000.
It's all right. It's all right with me.
And a year's suspended sentence. That'll frighten them.
Good. We ought to frighten them.
Oscar, let's really scare Allen.
How?
Let him serve the year.
Only a year. With good behavior, he'll be out in 8 months. In 8 months, our new show, Allegro, will be on Broadway.
Allegro? I wonder what Allen could do with Allegro.
If he's out in 8 months, we'll soon find out.
Oscar, if he gets out at all, our careers are in jeopardy.
You're right, Dick.
At least Freddie Martin waits until the composers are dead.
That's right, Dick. Why take chances? Let's make it 50 years.
Oscar, he's sneaky. He might escape. There's only one way we'll be safe. The electric chair.
The chair? Now, wait, Dick. If we give Allen the chair, how will it look? What will people say?
You're right, Oscar. What'll people say? Oscar.
Yes, Dick?
You really care what people say?
Okay, it's the chair.
Good, Oscar. Now I feel safe. Your case is next, gentlemen. Follow me. Look, Oscar. Here comes Allen now.
Oscar, Dick. See, I got your summons, boys. What a laugh.
Let go of my hand, you pirate.
Get your hand off my lapel, you plagiarist.
Boys, you're not serious. What can I do?
Get your head shaved.
But Oscar, Dick. Right, please. His Honor, Judge Batista.
Order the court. What's the first case?
Dr. Hammerstein versus Fred Allen. The charge...
Wait a minute. Hey, are you guys the Rogers and Hammerstein who wrote all them hit shows?
Yes, Your Honor.
Gosh. To think you guys wrote Oklahoma, Carousel, that picture State Fair. What an honor for the 3rd Precinct Court. Is this gentleman with you, boys? Oh, no, Your Honor. He's the defendant.
Defendant? What's that?
He's the one we're suing.
All right, what's your name, baggy face?
Fred Allen. You look guilty to me already. Sit down. I appeal.
You don't appeal to me. Let's start the trial. Well, Mr. Hammerstein, what are the charges?
Your Honor, my partner, Mr. Rogers, and I charged the defendant, Fred Allen, with presenting on his radio program a musical sketch called Piccadilly, which was a direct steal from our show, Oklahoma.
Your Honor.
Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty. By production of Piccadilly.
Quiet!
Your Honor.
Quiet! If there's one thing I can't stand, it's a loud mouth. Now, Mr. Rogers, are you ready to present the case?
Yes, Your Honor. First, the title song of Oklahoma.
Oh, you mean that wonderful Oklahoma where the wind comes right?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Allen opened his show with Piccadilly.
Oh, that's good enough for me. It's symphonic typetune.
Your Honor, I will admit that the melody may be similar.
Quiet, quiet. Yes, Mr. Hammerstein?
Your Honor, Allen's plea is incompetent, irrelevant, and my material.
You have further proof, Mr. Hammerstein?
Yes, Your Honor. You recall our song, Sorry, with the fringe on top?
You mean, ducks and chicks and these feathers when they pick you out in...
This, Your Honor, is how this ballad burglar sang our song. For the cold I don't give a hoot, 'cause I'm wearing my new union suit. Yes, I'm wearing my new union suit. There's a hinge on the back.
Stop! This is musical treason.
But, Your Honor.
Allen, shut up! If I had something on under this robe, I'd take it off and come down there and knock you flat.
Well, I couldn't be any flatter than Mr. Hammerstein singing.
Order in the court. Now, Mr. Rogers, what are you boys suing for?
Well, we're asking for $500,000.
Now, wait a minute. This is a frame-up. They've got to prove damages.
We will prove damages. Your Honor, I have a witness. Mary Snurd.
Mary Snurd to the bar.
Okay, come and judge.
Mary, what is your job?
I'm head usher in the balcony at the St. James Theater where Oklahoma's playing. Matinees, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Mary, how's business been at the St. James Theater?
We've been jammed. It's been like the subway, only with a better class of people.
Mr. Allen did Piccadilly on his radio program. What happened?
The next night, we were stuck with 80 gallons of orangeade.
In other words, business at Oklahoma fell off.
We caught a guy in the balcony cleaning chickens.
Miss Snurd, how much do you think Mr. Allen's plagiarism has cost us?
Just like you told me to say back at the office, Mr. Hammerstein. $500,000.
And you open your kazoo once more, I'm jabbing this gavel down at head first.
But, Your Honor.
I've done all I can stand. Allen to the bar.
Yes, Your Honor.
Allen, there's crimes worse than homicide, mopery, and arson. A guy who would steal the music of Oklahoma.
But, Your Honor, I'm no criminal. I'm a law-abiding citizen, Your Honor. As a boy in Boston, I was known as Honest Fred.
Honest Fred? You're from Boston?
Yes, Judge McKeester.
Are you the little honest Fred Allen who used to live back at Salt and Stall Saddle Shop?
Yes, Judge McKeester.
Honest Fred, don't you recognize me?
No, Judge.
Wait, I'll take off me toupee. There. You know me now?
Pinhead McKeester.
You pretty old boy.
Gosh, Pinhead, you a judge?
Yeah, what a laugh, huh?
McKeester.
Your Honor.
Quiet, you! Hammerhead or whatever your name is.
Oscar, what did we crawl into this time?
What's happening to us should happen to Irving Berlin.
after I told you when you suggested suing Allen. I suggested? It was your idea. I was against it. But you said... Quiet, you two bums! Say, Freddie, what was that song you wrote?
Oh, you mean Piccadilly?
Oh, that's terrific! But, Your Honor, that's our song.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. Hammerstein and Rogers, I ain't never seen a more fragrant piece of stealing. Your song, Oklahoma, is a direct steal from honest Fred song Piccadilly. I find you two chiselers guilty.
Wait a minute, Pinhead. I'm not vindictive, Pinhead. Live and let live.
Gosh, Fred, you're a prince.
Oh, forget it, Dick.
Thanks, Fred. The way the trial is going, Dick and I might have got 20 years.
You say the word honest, Fred, I can send these two monkeys up for life.
No, Pinhead. The world needs Rogers and Hammerstein and their songs. And I need their songs, too.
What do you want the court to do, Freddie? It's up to you.
Well, I've used their Oklahoma score. I wonder how Carousel would sound on my program.
Why don't you try it some night, Freddie?
Well, I haven't seen Carousel yet, Pinhead.
I can fix that. Rogers and Hammerstein?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court sentences you to give the defendant one ticket for your show Carousel, now playing at the Majestic Theater.
Yes, Your Honor.
Say, Pinhead.
Yeah, Freddie?
Now, look, if I'm going to steal the whole show, I'll have to have somebody with me, to help write down the music and the lyrics.
Say, that's right. Rogers and Hammerstein?
Yes, Your Honor.
The court further sentences you to go with Fred Allen and help him write down whatever he wants to steal from your show, Carousel.
Yes, Your Honor.
Court's adjourned.
Before we remind you to remember Beverly in your coffin days, I want to thank Richard Rogers and Oscar Hammerstein for their visit tonight and for their many kindnesses in the past. Next week, our guest will be those pets of the 400, Max Bear and Maxie Rosenblum. Thank you and good night. Thank you.